What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description.
8BT. Chapter 196. Snake Princess ill. I am a concubine, what can I do in person? Seeing that Namikaze Kirito cared about him, Boa Hancock's face became even hotter, and he even trembled when he spoke. You. What do you mean when you ask me that I am alright? Are you caring about my concubine's body? Hearing that, Namikaze Kirito nodded. You invited me to be a guest here, but I broke your secret. It's my fault. If something happens to you, I should be very awkward.
As soon as he heard the word, secret, Boa Hancock's face lost again. Knowing your own past, you won't feel disgusted, will you? Why should I hate it? Namikaze Kirito didn't understand what the other party was talking about at all, not to mention that he hated celestial dragons himself.
What does this have to do with the secret of Boa Hancock?
Is it? Although Namikaze Kirito is a rhetorical question, in Boa Hancock's heart, he has already subconsciously thought that what the other party said is that he does not dislike himself.
Would you even want to marry her? Thinking of this, Boa Hancock couldn't take it anymore, and his breathing became short of breath.
This changing expression made Namikaze Kirito completely confused by O3.
I saw him go straight forward, stretch out a hand, and put it on Boa Hancock's head.
It's a little hot. Before Namikaze Kirito used chakra to sense the physical condition of the other party, Boa Hancock stood up and hid back as if he had been electrocuted. Namikaze Kirito also subconsciously stretched out his hand to grab him. It doesn't matter if you pull it, it directly hits Boa Hancock's clothes. But the other party was anxious and straightforward just now, and directly put the clothes on his body casually, which also caused the clothes to be easily pulled away. A body that surpassed the essence of heaven and earth appeared in front of Namikaze Kirito. In terms of body shape, the beauties in the pirate world are definitely among the top few in the anime world. What's more, in the world of pirates, the #1 beauty of mankind, Boa Hancock.
No, it's too soon. Zero. While Boa Hancock panicked, Namikaze Kirito suddenly leaned towards him with the clothes in his hands.
Advertisement looking at the man who was getting closer and closer in front of him, a breath from the man rushed straight to his brain. Boa Hancock felt like he was about to suffocate. Then take it easy. After a while, Boa Hancock only felt his body sink, and the familiar clothes covered her body. Namikaze Kirito stood back to his previous position and turned his head. So it's just to put clothes on the concubine's body? There was nothing wrong with the other party, and Boa Hancock suddenly felt a sense of loss in his heart. Does concubine not have the slightest attraction in your eyes? Han Hancock, I'm sorry about what happened just now, I forgot. Even someone as strong as Namikaze Kirito is a bit embarrassed at this time.
He clearly said that he couldn't enter the deepest bedroom, but after thinking about it, he came here out of nowhere, and even broke the other party's secret. In the end, I even saw the whole body of Boa Hancock.
Although it was a beautiful misunderstanding, what happened to this feeling of guilt? When I was in the world of Hokage before, the two women, Tsunade and Terumi Mei, stared wide-eyed at Namikaze Kirito and Kagaya-ji appearing at their home. Before coming to this world, Tsunade specially found Namikaze Kirito for some sports. After the end, those jade hands even grabbed Namikaze Kirito's weapon and threatened him, not allowing him to mess around in the new world.
The touch of the day is still clear. However, just looking at it, shouldn't it count? Namikaze Kirito comforted himself inwardly. Namikaze Kirito.
While thinking, Boa Hancock interrupted. Are you and Rayleigh going to leave after this action?
Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito was taken aback, but still said, yes, I am a traveler. I want to see all the scenery in this world, so I won't stay in one place for too long, you say.
I see, you go out. Before Namikaze Kirito finished speaking, Boa Hancock gave the order to evict the guest, and turned around without looking at him again. This also makes Namikaze Kirito baffled, but since he has already spoken, there is no reason for him to stay here. He turned around and left the bedroom. After Namikaze Tongying was completely lost, Bo transferred and looked at the empty room. Advertisement his breathing became more and more rapid, thinking that Namikaze Kirito was going to leave. For some unknown reason, her heart twitched, and the pain was so painful that she almost died. Nothing to say all night. Early the next morning, Namikaze Kirito and Straw Hat Crew came to the living room early and ate the meals prepared for them by the Pirate Nation. After drinking and eating, Rayleigh wanted to ask about business. After all, the matter of Ace cannot be delayed any longer, there will be uncontrollable variables in one more day. After talking with the guard went down. Soon, the guard came over with the heavy-faced mother-in-law. Seeing the other person's face, Rayleigh had a bad premonition in his heart. What's wrong? Snake Princess, she fell ill. What? As soon as this remark came out, not only Rayleigh, but even Namikaze 217 Kirito was surprised. He fell ill today despite being fine last night? At the same time, I also had a guess in my heart. You know, in the original book, there was also a picture of Boa Hancock coming together. That's because of love, and the thought of Luffy leaving makes her heart a little bit unbearable. Lovesickness. This disease would even threaten her life, because although the successive kings of Daughter Island were powerful externally, they lived on this island all year round. Apart from going out to plunder, he would never travel far. This has also caused everyone's inner love to be like a blank sheet of paper, once someone who touches her heartstrings appears. If it is not guided, it is indeed easy to fall into danger. Namikaze Kirito turned his eyes to the Straw Hat Luffy, full of doubts in his heart. No, logically speaking, since I appeared, the plot should have been disrupted? How could something like this still happen? Boa Hancock didn't even have much contact with Luffy and ended up getting sick. The image of Boa Hancock from last night appeared in the mind of Namikaze Kirito, who was wondering. Sudden shudder. No way, could it be me who made her lovesick? This thought directly made Namikaze Kirito break into a cold sweat, and every detail of the meeting last night became clearer. Chapter 197. I really have you, Mr. Kirito. Why are you suddenly sick? Hearing Rayleigh's inquiry, my mother-in-law still had that heavy expression. I don't know why, but I suddenly fell ill last night. By this morning, I couldn't even get up from the bed. Let the doctor see it. I'm afraid if this continues, it will be life-threatening. Hearing this, Rayleigh's face also became heavy. The three Boa Hancock sisters were rescued by him, Granny Z and Shaggy, and of course they were also worried about each other. Now at this critical time, he fell ill and his life was in danger. When everyone was silent, Chopper suddenly stood up from the side. Let me go and have a look. I'm also a doctor. I heard that someone is sick. As a doctor, I can't ignore it. With a small body, his tone was full of firmness. This is no longer for the captain to rescue the big brother, but a healer's instinct. Yeah, we just came to this island, and the Empress got sick, let's take a look too. Nami also spoke. Everyone in Straw Hat Crew was full of worry. Only Namikaze Kirito had a strange expression, as if he had guessed a possibility. And it has something to do with himself. If you want to confirm this guess, you can only see people first. Feeling the sincerity of everyone, my mother-in-law also felt warm. Okay, then go and have a look with me. After all, Granny Zaw walked straight to the depths of the hall, followed by everyone. Soon, I came to Boa Hancock's bedroom. I saw Boa Hancock lying on the bed at this time, breathing rapidly, and his white forehead was covered with sweat. There are a few girls beside her who are constantly fanning their empress, and a few doctors are discussing in a low voice. Just looking at Boa Hancock's appearance at this time, there is indeed a feeling of terminal illness. Snake, Rayleigh and the others are here to see you. Grandma Z walked to the bed and spoke softly. Yes, is that so? What's wrong with this concubine? I don't know yet, but for our country, you have to hold on. At this moment, Chopper came forward with a medical kit and began to patiently diagnose Boa Hancock. Advertisement. The Straw Hat Crew on the side also cast hopeful eyes. Chopper has been diagnosing for a long time, his small eyes are full of big doubts. How is it, Chopper? Nami couldn't bear it first, stepped forward and asked softly. Chopper put away his equipment and said in a questioning tone. This is not right, I have not found out the cause at all, and all the signs are normal, only the heart beats too fast. This is also the reason for her fever. My concubine. Is my concubine dying soon? What are you talking about? You are the empress of this country, how could you die? The mother-in-law comforted softly. Just when everyone was helpless, Namikaze Kirito sighed, then walked to the side of the guard, and whispered a few words in the other's ear. Originally, the guard glared at the man in front of him after listening to the words, but he thought of the current situation of his empress. Just try it once. Seeing the guard walking towards the empress, Namikaze Kirito also turned around and left the bedroom, came to the balcony, and fell into deep thought while looking at the distant scenery. After Namikaze Kirito left, the guard stepped forward, leaned over and whispered in Boa Hancock's ear. Empress, Namikaze Kirito said that he would like to invite you to take a look at the scenery outside. As soon as this remark came out, the two sisters of the snake girl next to her were so angry that they were about to explode. They didn't expect that at this moment, there would still be people who were so ignorant, who would look at the scenery even though their sister was dying. What's even more exasperating is that the guards dared to come and speak. Hole, didn't you see that Miss Huang is in pain now? D is looking for death, I'm going to. Just when the guards closed their eyes tightly and were ready to die, Boa Hancock, who was lying on the bed, suddenly stood up. Okay, Sonia, Garud, shut up, don't embarrass her. Emperor, miss. This scene directly stunned the people present. What about the weak look just now? Did you recover so quickly? Only the mother-in-law at the side seemed to see something, her old eyes were full of shock. Snake Princess, you be D. Ignoring the shocked crowd, Boa Hancock looked directly at the guard who reported the news. Advertisement, Bo. Did the man say where he is? Yes, my Lord Empress, he said that he will wait for you on the balcony. Really? I see, you have done a good job on this matter, go on. Boa Hancock has fully recovered to his usual appearance at this time, even radiant, and Sanji beside him is petrified again. And she walked out of the room calmly and walked towards the balcony. It really belongs to you, Mr. Kirito. Nico Robin looked at the leaving figure of the Empress, covered her mouth and smiled lightly, only Nami noticed her expression. What, Robin, do you know what happened? It's nothing, it is estimated that our Empress will recover soon, we just have to wait patiently. On the balcony, Namikaze Kirito leaned his whole body against the fence, heard the footsteps of Tata behind him, and opened his mouth without looking back. There you are, Hancock, it's nothing, I just want you to come out and watch the scenery with me. HMPH. Is that what you called my concubine to say? Boa Hancock couldn't pretend anymore, his perfect face was covered with red clouds. Hi. No, I'm here, Namikaze Kirito, what's the matter you asked me to come here? So, are you leaving with me? I already knew your answer last night, what does it mean to come out and say it again? Boa Hancock responded with excitement on his face, but then he seemed to have thought of something and immediately calmed down. The mind was still thinking, but the body walked directly to Namikaze Kirito's side, also propped his elbows on the fence, and looked at his own country song. Hearing this, Boa Hancock's heart felt sour, but he still let out a hard snort. After hearing Namikaze Kirito's answer, Boa Hancock's heart beat crazily again. Pretentiously said. The two could clearly sense each other's breathing. At this moment, Namikaze Kirito suddenly turned around, facing Boa Hancock. Hancock, I'm not staying here. This person said, to accompany him to see the scenery. Could this be the confession in Legendary? The confession? Accompany you. You. What are you going to do? Chapter 198. The Empress returns her heart. What did you say? Boa Hancock didn't understand what Namikaze Kirito said, because the two were really close, and her brain was about to go into a shutdown state. I said, do you want to come with me? You. What do you mean?
Call. Namikaze Kirito took a deep breath, then moved his whole body close to the person in front of him again, and directly grabbed the jade hand that was placed on the railing. In the hands, it is weak and boneless, crystal clear and tender, should it be said that it is a person who lives at sea all year round.
Amazing skin. You, me. Are you asking me? Are you proposing marriage? Feeling the warmth of that hand, it was the first time for Boa Hancock to face such a thing, and it was also the first time to have intimate contact with a man. Even holding hands makes her almost smoke. The words that came out became even more stuttering. Proposal. Sort of. Namikaze Kirito's sudden straight ball directly put Boa Hancock into a tangle. Although she had rehearsed this situation many times in her mind, in reality, she was still at a loss and didn't know how to respond. As if he could see the heart of the other party, Namikaze Kirito didn't wait any longer, and stretched out his arms, hugging the shy woman in front of him. Boa Hancock felt dizzy, she had never experienced such a thing before. The warm embrace made her feel relieved, and she wrapped her arms around Namikaze Kirito's back unconsciously. I won't stay here, but I hope that when I see the scenery everywhere, you can be with me. As soon as these words came out, Boa Hancock fell limply into Namikaze Kirito's arms. Is this love? Boa Hancock has a height of 1.91 meters, and Namikaze Kirito is only a little taller than her. So when they turned their heads, the two eyes met, and Boa Hancock's beautiful eyes were full of confusion at this time. Seeing this tempting scene, Namikaze Kirito couldn't bear it any longer, and put his face directly against it. Well, first shy and flustered, and then began to cooperate clumsily. Advertisement. Boa Hancock, the Empress of the pirate world, is completely obsessed and in love at this time. After a long time, the two separated. At this time, Boa Hancock was able to stand completely relying on Namikaze Kirito. With a soft and boneless body in his arms, Namikaze Kirito is also a little confused. When I first came to the world of pirates, I had an empress. When I returned to the world of Hokage, I had to be eaten by those women at home. But it was already like this, and he didn't even think about escaping. If you travel through the anime world and don't let yourself go for a while, then it would be in vain. What's more, I like these women from the bottom of my heart, and if I like them, they should be together, and no matter who they are, even the order of this world, it is impossible to separate them. Kirito. No, my lord, I think all this seems a bit dreamy. Boa Hancock is a typical love brain. Anyone who has read the original work should know that as long as you fall in love with someone, even if you just fell in love, you will put your heart and soul into it. After the emotion just now my heart is completely attached to Namikaze Kirito. But she always felt that all this was a bit too dreamy. When she met someone she liked, the person she liked also fell in love with herself. In this short period of time, the two established a relationship. It's like dreaming. Not only Boa Hancock, but even Namikaze Kirito has this feeling, and fortunately this person is her. If it were another female character, I'm afraid she wouldn't give her heart so easily. Hancock, don't worry, I won't abandon you. Namikaze Kirito knew what Boa Hancock meant. Since she felt dreamy, a dodge, she must be afraid of being left behind. Unlike Luffy, Namikaze Kirito is not some kind of One Piece who is all about taking risks. Come to this world, besides unblocking this world, isn't the biggest purpose is to enjoy it? The same is true for love. Now that it has happened, I never thought about letting go. Boa Hancock heard the firmness in Namikaze Kirito's tone, and nodded quickly. I will follow you to Cape Tianya personally, Tilda. In the bedroom, everyone is anxiously waiting for the return of the Empress and Namikaze Kirito. Only the mother-in-law understood something, and sat on the chair directly, with a leisurely look. In her view, love is like a tornado. Advertisement. As long as it comes, fat is unstoppable. That being the case, then. Soon, Namikaze Kirito appeared in everyone's eyes, and behind him was Boa Hancock. Everyone quickly wiped their eyes. Is this still the proud Empress? I saw Boa Hancock following behind Namikaze Kirito, like a little wife, blushing all over her face, and 10 pairs of beautiful eyes looked at Namikaze Kirito from time to time. The eyes are full of friendship. Ahem. Kirito-kun, should I say congratulations? Rayleigh also coughed twice in embarrassment at this time. Don't worry, I won't stay in daughter's country, I will go to the undersea prison with you. As if seeing Rayleigh's worry, Namikaze Kirito said with a slightly teasing tone. That's good, ha ha ha. Most of the people in Straw Hat Crew had question marks on their heads, they didn't know what happened. Only Robin covered his mouth and smiled. And Sanji's eyes are full of jealousy. Damn it, Pirate Empress. Pirate Empress was chased away by others just like that. Seeing Boa Hancock's state, the mother-in-law's eyes were full of relief. Shiji grew up watching her grow up, no matter what choice she makes, she will bless each other. If you can find your home here in Namikaze Kirito, wouldn't it be a blessing? What a lucky little devil, he won the heart of Snake Princess just after he came here. Ignoring Granny Z's muttering in a low voice, Boa Hancock walked directly in front of the crowd and sat on the chair. I have decided to accept the government's call, but before that, I will help you go to the submarine prison, after that, I will not care about it. Really? That's great, thank you, you're such a nice guy. Luffy jumped up happily when he heard that he could rescue Ace. Just as he was about to go to hug the Empress, he was sent flying by an inexplicable force, smashing the screen beside him. Seeing Namikaze Kirito standing aside and playing with small stones, I still don't understand that it was his hand. My lord seems to care about my concubine very much. Boa Hancock looked at Namikaze Kirito shyly. Chapter 199 Going to the Undersea Prison. Ha ha. The sound of high heels sounded on the warship, and Boa Hancock, the most beautiful woman in the world, the Pirate Queen, finally agreed to the government's summoning. The Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral Mole was also relieved. You know, if the other party refuses, they will launch an attack. From the previous point of view, Boa Hancock didn't even need to make a move, and he could petrify all the soldiers he brought with him just by looking at him. Facing such an opponent, Rang Shu had no idea. Fortunately, things went smoothly, although Boa Hancock made a request to go to the large submarine prison. But the headquarters has already agreed, so it has nothing to do with me. It's just to take a look at the big prison under the sea. The title of Iron Wall is not for nothing, even if Boa Hancock has some excessive actions at that time. It is also impossible to break through the large submarine prison and escape. Boa Hancock, thank you for accepting the government's call to. Shut up, disrespectful person, who allowed you to call my concubine's name? In front of outsiders, the Empress has always maintained a haughty look, only in front of Namikaze Kirito, she will turn into a small bird, which is what makes Namikaze Kirito like her. The room is ready, you can go in, Mole gritted his teeth and said. 7 warlords of the sea, to put it nicely, is working with the government. But this is a disgrace to Marine, you know, these 7 positions are all pirates, and they are also the best among pirates. Otherwise, the world government will not ask for cooperation. With a legal right to plunder, it's like shitting on Marine's head. However, there is no way to cure the other party, only to satisfy all the unreasonable demands of the other party. There is no way, Marine is just the combat department of the world government after all, and the 7 warlords of the sea directly appointed by the world government, even if Marine is unwilling, he can only endure it. This may also be a point that people who have read the original work have criticized. Obviously the celestial dragons did so many rubbish things, Marine turned a blind eye, the world government launched a buster call, even the civilians were massacred, and Marine turned into an executioner. Of course, some pirates are not good things, and they also do all kinds of evil, such as burning, killing, and looting. But they don't flaunt justice, unlike Marine, who carry justice on their backs, but are powerless about some things. This is the helplessness of Marine and the weight of justice. After Boa Hancock boarded the warship, several warships also directly left Daughter Island, a man's paradise. In the room of the warship, advertisement at this time, Boa Hancock was sitting on a chair, and there was a person pillowing on her big white legs. Boa Hancock looked at the man on his lap with fascination in his beautiful eyes, and kept feeding him fruits. This is of course Namikaze Kirito. When Boa Hancock was on the warship before, he used the transformation technique of the ninja world to turn it into a hairpin and hang it on Boa Hancock's hair. Now in the room, of course there is no need to hide the figure anymore. Straw Hat Crew and Rayleigh were imprisoned by him in the space of Wangshen Bilangzaka. My lord, is it delicious? Not bad. Namikaze Kirito adjusted his position comfortably, and could feel the slight trembling of those jade legs under his head. Seeing Boa Hancock's appearance made Namikaze Kirito more and more interested in teasing him. The idle hands also began to become restless. Sailing on the sea is the most boring way, not to mention being on a marine warship. However, with the support of science and technology, the warship soon arrived at the large submarine prison. The mole handed over the procedures directly to Hanayabel, the deputy warden of the large submarine prison. When Boa Hancock was being inspected, no one saw that a hairpin fell off the ground directly. Then, the change became a wisp of smoke, rushing toward the deepest part. After being inspected, Boa Hancock went directly to the large submarine prison to take a look, and then left after following the warship. Before leaving, those beautiful eyes were still staring into the depths of the prison. Honey, I'm leaving first, you must remember to come to me. The 6th floor of the large submarine prison, in the eternal hell. This place is either life imprisoned or death row inmates. Basically, they're the figures in the outside world. No one in common knows the existence of such a prison. And Namikaze Kirito, relying on his understanding of the original work, went directly to a gap on the 6th floor of the basement. Then Rayleigh and the Straw Hat Crew were released. What a strange ability, Kirito-kun. Rayleigh finally saw the different dimension of Namikaze Kirito this time, his eyes were full of surprise. Have you finally come here? Ace, wait for me, I will rescue you right away. What kind of terrifying existence will exist on the 6th floor of the big prison? In other words, I have a disease that will kill me if I continue walking, so let me stay here. Advertisement, I don't know if there will be a swordsman in it. Straw Hat Crew has different ideas. Under the leadership of Namikaze Kirito, the people came directly to this kazoo prison. Seeing the appearance of the new face, many criminals on the 6th floor howled out. Ha 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 ha. Someone actually broke in. Brat, letting the uncle out will benefit you. There are 2 chicks, come here, I'm almost suffocating. That old man looks familiar. Namikaze Kirito walked in front, listening to the noise in his ears, and then said softly, what a bunch of noisy guys. Conqueror's Hokage popped out of nowhere. The slightly weaker person in the prison immediately turned pale and passed out. This isn't one of the 7 warlords of the sea ever looking to topple Alabasta. This is Luffy, who is so anxious that Brother Shuin is eager. Hokage from Conquerors? Isn't he a common brat? Do you know Ace? Just like this, the prisons asked one after another, but these criminals didn't have any serious answers, or let Luffy let himself out first. The rest of the people also looked at Namikaze Kirito with serious faces. Sand Crocodile, G-Lock Doll again? The appearance of this Conqueror's Hokage also made the characters in the deepest prisons look over. Straw Hat Luffy. It's been a long time. Just when he was anxious, a deep voice suddenly came out. You are. Who are you? Ignoring everyone's surprise, Luffy began to look around the prisons. Hockey's Imp Plus. Pluton Rayleigh, what combination is that? Or just keep silent. Even I can barely stand this Hokage, what a monster. It's been a long time, I didn't expect to become an old guy. Hey, uncle, do you know Ace? Where is he locked up? Luffy had question marks all over his head, but the Straw Hat Crew behind him could see the identity of the other party. Chapter 200 Follow me, Mr. Luffy? Are you the brother Ace brother said? In a prison next to the Sand Crocodile, a burly man with blue skin asked. Ace? Ace? Hey, uncle, do you know where Ace is? Is it really Ace's younger brother? I am Jinbei from the Murloc tribe. Ace has just been taken away. If we go now, there is still time. Really? Thank you, uncle. Hearing this, Luffy wants to leave, and Ace has just been taken away, that is to say, he should still be able to catch up now. Wait a minute, Mr. Luffy, why don't you let me out? I can help. Hearing Jinbei's words, Rayleigh also looked at Luffy, and he handed over the decision to Luffy. Good. After pondering for a moment, Luffy raised his head and smiled and said, Uncle, 820. You are Ace's friend, you must be a good person, so I will help you. Thank you, Mr. Luffy. Swish, a sword flashed across. No matter how hard the cage was, it couldn't match the 3-foot green blade in Rayleigh's hand. Jinbei walked out directly from the inside and thanked everyone. Hey, let Lousy go too, don't you want to save some Ace? I can help you too? That's right, let me out, I'll do whatever you want me to do, I've had enough of this damn place. Ha ha ha, I'm a big pirate, you should be honored to have a helper like me. Seeing that Jinbei was released, the prisoners on the side exploded, howling one by one to ask Luffy to release himself and others. Of course, what they said didn't have much truth at all. Once out of the cage, who knows what will happen. Although Luffy was very nervous, he was obviously not stupid when it came to this kind of thing, and he didn't pay attention to what the prisoners said. Crocodile, Sand Crocodile, how about I let you out? Namikaze Kirito stood in front of K. Lockier's cage and spoke with great interest. Little devil, what is your purpose? Advertisement. Faced with the temptation of being able to go out, K-Lock Doll did not look as fanatical as the prisoners around him. Instead, he narrowed his eyes and looked at Namikaze Kirito.
Not only the Hokage from Conquerors just now, even with the naked eye, you can feel a palpitating power in the man opposite. It's definitely not a good thing. People like this say that they want to release themselves without any purpose, even if they kill K-Lock, they will not believe it.
Don't worry, is there anything worth planning for you in this situation? I'm just very interested in you. Do you want to follow me? Following you? Are you kidding me? I'm not in the habit of telling jokes. Namikaze Tongra shook his head and said softly. I'm not following anyone. K-Lock Doll pondered for a moment, or whispered. Oh Tilda, but you are locked up here, your ambition, everything about you is just empty talk. Follow me and I can let you appreciate the truth of the world.
The truth of the world. Hey, Clock Doll sneered. Even if there is truth in this world, it must be rotten. I know what's the use of that kind of thing. Really. Ellipsis 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 quote. When Lockdar said so, Namikaze Kirito was even more interested. When I watched the One Piece anime in my previous life, there were Blackbeard, Doflamingo, and Lao Sha in it. These 3 people impressed Namikaze Kirito deeply.
Although they are also called villains, but in this world, in the final analysis, where there are real villains, some just have different positions. Clockdar, I extend an invitation to you again. As long as you board my ship, I guarantee that all your ambitions will be realized. Seriously, I am not joking. A terrifying aura suddenly emanated from Namikaze Kirito. This aura is almost condensed into substance, not just Conqueror's Hokage, but also has its own aura. Everyone in the cage felt that their hearts were being tightly suppressed by a mountain, and they were even a little out of breath. Straw Hat Crew and some weaker prisoners were already sitting on the ground, their foreheads covered with sweat. This guy? What kind of monster is this? Advertisement, the world won't look boring anymore.
Lockdar also looked at Namikaze Kirito with complicated eyes. He had only seen this kind of aura in the body of the strongest man in the world, Whitebeard, when he was young.
And Namikaze Kirito is even more imposing? After a long time, Namikaze Kirito regained his momentum until the members of the Straw Hats could no longer hold on. When Nami and others looked at Namikaze Kirito again, their eyes were full of horror. How about it, G-Lock doll? Why did you choose me?
That's a good question. Namikaze Kirito squeezed his chin, and said playfully, in this prison, there are people who are more ambitious than you, and people who are stronger than you. No matter what, you are not the best partner. Prior choice. Listening to what Namikaze Kirito said, Lokadar's face became more and more gloomy, but he had no way to refute.
You know, this deepest prison is full of monsters. Even though he was very angry, it was a pity that what the other party said was the truth. As if he didn't see Locke's face, Namikaze Kirito continued. However, I like your bad character, so, how about it? Do you want to see the truth of this world with me, until it subverts the whole world?
Hee hee hee. Ha 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 ha. Clock Doll chuckled at first, then turned his head to the sky and laughed. Turn the whole world upside down. I agree, I will approve of you as the captain, but one day, if your life is dying, I don't mind telling you I will do what.
Ha ha ha, life is dying. I'm sorry, your wish probably won't come true.
After all, Wave 3.5 Kirito looked at Rayleigh. It really can call people, obviously I can easily open this prison door. Although he complained, Rayleigh raised his long sword, and with a slash of light, Clock Doll walked out of the prison.
The shackles on his hands were also cut off. My name is Namikaze Kirito. Remember this name. I will be your captain from now on, Lockdar.
Ah, I'll remember. Seeing that everything that should be done was done, Luffy couldn't bear the anxiety in his heart anymore, and walked forward quickly. Rayleigh and his group also quickly followed, only Namikaze Kirito took Lockdar in the back like a walk.
He is considering who to take on his ship as companions. It is not perfect to come to this world without actually sailing around the sea.
Chapter 201. This is the end of your journey. Lockdar walks with Namikaze Kirito on the ground deep in the prison.
Seeing his own captain watching from one prison to another with great interest, Lockdar couldn't help laughing. Do you still want to find a few scumbags here as companions? Who knows, at present, it's really a headache to see someone as bad as you. Buzz. While the two were still walking aimlessly, harsh sirens suddenly sounded from every corner of the prison. It seems that the Straw Hats have already started to act. What a troublemaker, no matter where you go, it will become so noisy. Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito had a smile on his face. It seems that you are still worried about Straw Hat Crew's sabotage of your plan? Humph. Lockdar snorted coldly, without denying it.
He was indeed on the verge of stealing the country at that time. If it weren't for the sudden appearance of Straw Hat Crew, how could it have become what it is now?
Don't be dissatisfied. I tell you, even without them, you would not be able to get the so-called ancient weapon, let alone occupy that country. Huh? What do you mean? Lock frowned tightly. He felt that Namikaze Kirito obviously had something to say. Namikaze Kirito said slowly, you really think that Alabasta is as simple as what you see?
The king of their country was once a member of the world government, but they gave up their so-called honorable status. You mean, celestial dragons? Hearing this secret suddenly, Clockdar was also stunned. He didn't expect a country in the first half of the Grand Line to have such a secret. That's right, it's the pigs, or do you think they can hide the news from the world government that they use Pluton in their basement?
The answer is that they don't need to hide it at all, because they are also one of the creators. Although they gave up their identities, the world government will not allow you to get that country, or even Pluton's secrets. If there is no accident, when you successfully kill those royal family members, it will be your death date. Yeah. On this point, Lockdar did not refute. The world government wants to kill a person, it is not too simple. Advertisement: the true overlord of the sea has never been a pirate like 4 emperors, 7 warlords of the sea.
It is Marine, which has the most advanced technology and the most complete army system, not to mention, the highest combat power is not just for fun.
In addition to the 3 admirals on the surface, those admiral candidates and the marshal are even more hidden powerhouses.
The two were talking and walking upwards. At this time, they heard footsteps approaching, and the Warden Magellan had received the news that someone had broken into the prison.
At this time, all the defenses have been dispatched, intending to catch all the sinners. Here, Celestial, one of the original 7 warlords of the sea, and Namikaze Kirito, the sinner who killed 3 celestial dragons. Hearing what the guard said, even Lock couldn't help but look at Namikaze Kirito with constricted pupils.
Kill 3 celestial dragons. After doing such a thing, he was able to come to this big prison safely. I have to say that the purpose of subverting the world that the other party said seems to be serious. Go together. Come on. The guards of the prison rushed towards the position of Namikaze Kirito and the two of them, holding weapons and shouting. Seeing this scene, Lockadar went straight to the front and put one hand on the ground.
Erosion reincarnation. A huge piece of yellow sand appeared in Clockeater's hands, and then it spread towards the defense team.
Where the yellow sand passed, the ground cracked open, and the rocks were turned into gravel. The people in the defense team turned into mummies the moment they came into contact with the yellow sand.
There is no longer any trace of water in the body. The ability of Sand Fruit, and Namikaze Kirito's disciple in the world of Hokage, I come to Luoke to imagine very much. This is also one of the reasons for letting Lockdar be his subordinate. Let's go, by the way, it's time to change your clothes, this one obviously doesn't suit you. Hearing Namikaze Kirito's teasing words, K-Lock didn't say anything, and the two walked forward. On the other side, on the third floor of the large submarine prison.
Straw Hat Crew, Rayleigh, Jinbei and others are fighting with the garrison, and Evakov, the revolutionary army who helped Luffy in the original book, still appeared.
Advertisement: if Namikaze Kirito were here, he would have to marvel at the world's healing power.
Even with Rayleigh and Jinbei as bodyguards, after the plot has completely changed, they can still have everyone's help smoothly.
It should be said that he is the son of destiny. Damn it. If we keep fighting like this, when will we catch up with Ace?
Straw Hat Boy, Ace Boy should have been taken away by them. If we want to save him, we still have to go to Naval Headquarters. Really? Then go. Wherever I go, I will rescue Ace.
The other members of the Straw Hat Crew didn't have the slightest opinion when they heard what their captain said. After all, they came here in such a crazy way on the way of sailing. No matter what world government or 7 warlords of the sea, there is no one they dare not mess with.
And Rayleigh had a wry smile on his face. According to his thinking, breaking into the large undersea prison is to save 463 Ace. It is also very convenient, and he does not need to appear in Marine's eyes too much.
Now it's all right, Ace has been taken away, and he still has to participate in the war. When I see my old friend Whitebeard, needless to say, I will definitely be scolded by the other party. After all, Ace has become a member of the Whitebeard Pirates. Going to help the rescue yourself is an insult to Whitebeard, and there is absolutely nothing good to say. But now it's too late. Even if you want to quit, things have already developed like this. Forget it, let me go crazy one last time. After firming up his mind, Rayleigh swung the sword oar even more fiercely, causing all the guards in front of him to lose their fighting ability. Jinbei on the side is very much in favor of participating in the war. Whitebeard is his benefactor, even if Luffy does not go to the war. He would go to the rescue alone. Just as everyone was fighting fiercely, a huge figure walked over. A black defensive uniform, the horns on the forehead called out the poisonous gas from the mouth. Warden Magellan. Jinbei looked at the person coming, his eyes full of seriousness. He has been in this prison for a while, of course he knows Magellan. Straw Hat Crew, and Pluton Rayleigh, it seems that you are the intruders of the prison. Those 2 criminals will be cleaned up later. Your way is here. Chapter 202, The Blackbeard Pirates. Poisonous Pufferfish. Magellan knew that on the opposite side was the original Shichibukai Jinbei, and One Piece's right hand, Pluton Rayleigh. So he didn't dare to be careless at all, and immediately launched an attack after saying that sentence just now. Countless purple's poisonous balls shot out from his mouth. Once this toxin is touched, it will lose its combat effectiveness at that time. Magellan, the poisonous fruit, is very terrifying. Anywhere on his body will produce deep purple venom, including sweat, saliva, and breath, all the same. These poisons can paralyze nerves, produce pain and hallucinations, and even kill people. In the original book, the Blackbeard Pirates had just met Magellan, and they would have been wiped out as soon as they met, if Shiryu of the Rain hadn't come in time. Blackbeard won't even make it to the Summit War, and will be arrested and jailed. Hit the water. Facing the oncoming purple poisonous ball, Jinbei directly stood in front, took out a bottle of water and poured it on his hand, and knocked out several water droplets with powerful force. These water droplets directly penetrate the poisonous ball one by one, causing the poisonous ball to scatter and split. Although it blocked the path of the poisonous ball, after the poisonous ball split, it turned into liquid and sprinkled on the ground, and the ground was corroded in a short time. Even a deep purple poisonous mist appeared in the air. Oops. Mr. Luffy, quickly cover your mouth and nose with your companions. Once you inhale this poisonous gas, I'm afraid you will lose the ability to move. Hearing the reminder, the members of the Straw Hat Group covered their mouths and noses, but it is definitely not acceptable not to breathe for a long time. Thanks to them bringing in the ship's doctor, Chopper. I saw Chopper took out the medicine box and began to configure the antidote. A doctor? But it's useless. I won't let you leave here without the dignity of the warden. After all, Magellan directly charged forward, carrying a deep purple poisonous gas wherever he went, corroding the surrounding rocks, walls, and even the ground. I'm sorry, although I'm retired, I never thought about retirement here. Rayleigh swung the sword several times, swish swish swish. Facing this sharp sword light, even Magellan had to hide from it. Because of the fruit, he often has diarrhea when he eats, so he has no time to exercise his body at all, so he can only develop the fruit's ability. Advertisement: this leads to the fact that the body is his weak point. But the weakness is relatively speaking. If ordinary people want to fight him at a closer distance, they will probably be poisoned by the terrifying poisonous gas before they get to their side. Armed color, hardened. Rayleigh's right arm and long sword turned black, with the armor-colored hockey wrapped around it. The more delays these days, the harder it is to guarantee Ace recovery. So be sure to be quick. Even now, Rayleigh thinks he can get Ace out before he's taken to Naval Headquarters. Giant soldiers of poison, the judgment of hell. Roar. Magellan releases the poison of the skull-shaped titan from the body. Unlike the general purple poison, this move is a specially made fresh red poison. Any substance that comes into contact with it will be infected and gradually spread to corrode everything. As long as a person touches the poison, it will gradually spread until death. Obviously, he saw that Rayleigh was serious, so he also used his full strength. The huge red skeleton rushed towards the position of Straw Hat Crew. Rayleigh and Jinbei stand in front of the crowd and start fighting with them. On the other side, Namikaze Kirito brought Lock back his clothes, a batch of Black's cloaks, and once he picked up the cigar, he returned to his previous appearance again. It's just that when walking forward, it automatically lags behind Namikaze Kirito by half a body distance. Clock Doll is a conflicted man, with brutal methods, but also a man of ambition and ideas. He won't simply decide who to hang out with, but once he agrees, he doesn't think that talking will count, after all, if he doesn't want to. You can choose not to come out of prison at first. The two walked casually in the upward passage, and solved many guards along the way. Then footsteps were heard again. Oh, Namikaze Kirito, driving the observation hockey, smiled playfully. He already knew who the person was, that familiar aura couldn't be concealed no matter what. After a while, people from both sides met. Advertisement. Jihahaha, isn't this the former 7 warlords of the sea Graham Lockadar? What, just escaped from prison? Blackbeard. Lock Doll was smoking a cigar, his eyes were full of indifference. This Blackbeard, he had also heard of it, was a man full of ambition who took the place of 7 warlords of the sea after he left. When Ace was in prison before, he knew that he was caught by Blackbeard. Blackbeard, Marshal D. Teach, this is the first time we've met. Hearing Namikaze Kirito's words, Blackbeard also took a closer look, and he felt that the young man in front of him was somewhat familiar just now. He just couldn't remember it for a while, but soon, his eyes lit up. Namikaze Kirito. The sinner who attacked the nobles of the world. It is said that he also sent the highest marine power into the sea. It is you. It seems that this sand crocodile should have become your servant? Subordinate. I think it's not bad to call him a companion. Jia ha 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 ha. The great sinner Namikaze Kirito, if it's you, would you like to join us? Take this world with me? When speaking, Blackbeard's eyes were full of ambition, and his tone was firm. It seems that he will succeed, the same appeal as Luffy, but also because he can find a group of like-minded partners. Together is fine, but, Blackbeard, why don't you come with me? Namikaze Kirito spoke with a teasing smile. As soon as these words came out, the several crew members behind Blackbeard all became alert, and Shiryu Ume was also behind Blackbeard. Noma, S. At this time, and the knife in his hand was slowly unsheathed. Dark water. There was a disagreement, and Blackbeard struck directly. Black's vortex appeared from his hand, and the huge suction attracted Namikaze Kirito's windbreaker to tremble. There was a trace of surprise in Locke's eyes. He found that he could no longer be elemental, and what was more serious, he could no longer maintain his body's balance at this time. Both legs have left the ground. It was Namikaze Kirito who grabbed Lockadar casually, avoiding the end of being sucked by the dark water. This invincible dark fruit ability made Blackbeard stumble for a while? Isn't demon fruit power always restrained by dark fruit? Why is the man in front of him okay? Don't say he's okay, he even grabbed K-Lock Doll. This is impossible. It was also the first time for Namikaze Kirito to be attacked by someone with his own moves, and this feeling was very novel to him. Chapter 203 Fire Fist Ace. Why? Why aren't you affected by my dark fruit? Blackbeard seemed to be in disbelief at what was happening in front of him. The reason why he would shoot directly is that the first point is to show a wave of strength first if the other party does not join him. The second point is that Namikaze Kirito's fruit ability may be very scary, after all, it can defeat Admiral. If you absorb it, it is also a good choice, but I didn't expect that he would die before he was able to win the battle, and the other party would not be affected by dark fruit at all. Blackbeard, your dark fruit is too immature. Namikaze Kirito walked forward slowly and spoke softly. Now you don't even have the idea of asking me to take action. I'm still the same as before. Do you want to join me? I like your bad personality very much. Jia ha 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 ha, it seems that your criteria for choosing a partner are the same as mine. Blackbeard grinned. Go to the deepest part of the prison to find your companions. After that, don't you want to give the world a gorgeous performance? Namikaze Kirito came to Blackbeard's side, patted his shoulder twice, and spoke meaningfully. As soon as these words came out, Blackbeard's body couldn't help trembling a few times. How do you know? Obviously this plan. He only told his trusted partners in 870, none of these partners had met Namikaze. That is to say, it is impossible to tell the truth. But the other party actually knew his plan. Thinking of this, a chill rose from Blackbeard's back. Don't worry, I won't destroy your plan, but when the time comes, I hope you can be stronger and stop being so immature. After speaking, Namikaze Kirito walked straight forward, followed by K-Lock. Shiryu of the Rain looked at Blackbeard, and then at the back of Namikaze Kirito. I don't know if it was an illusion, but just now he saw the man staring at him. At this time, he was also thinking in his heart. As Shiryu of the Rain who can draw with Magellan, he definitely doesn't want his captain to be a rookie. Advertisement Blackbeard can attract him entirely because of his bad character and ambition to conquer the world. Now there is such a person again, even above Blackbeard, and in terms of strength, just showing a corner is already frightening. It seems that the choice of future roads has become more and more. Unaware of Shiryu's change, Blackbeard kept thinking about what Namikaze Kirito had just said. Knowing his plan, still think he is immature. He had never been insulted like this before, even if Namikaze Kirito was just telling the truth. In Blackbeard's opinion, it was already the biggest insult to him. Namikaze Kirito, right? Ha 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 ha, you will be there when the war starts, right? At that time, let's decide the outcome. After saying this, Blackbeard led his crew directly to the deepest part of the prison. He is looking for a group of reliable partners, Naval Headquarters, Malindo. At this time, Marine has already prepared its entire army, and is just waiting for the arrival of the Whitebeard pirates. There are 3 chairs under the execution platform, sitting respectively, Admiral Kizaru, Admiral Aokiji, and Admiral Akainu. The arrival of the 3 admirals directly raised Marines' morale. Live broadcasts also appeared around the world, and everyone was shocked to see the Marine lineup. With such a formation, it is estimated that even if the Whitebeard pirates come, they will be completely wiped out, right? At the forefront is the 7 warlords of the sea, which together with Marine and 4 emperors have become the 3 major forces. Hokage, the world's #1 swordsman, Boa Hancock, Gecko Moria, Heavenly Yaksha, Don Quixote, Doflamingo, Tyrant Bear. There were only 5 of them, and the other 2 were in the big prison under the sea at this time, namely Haishu Jinbei and Blackbeard Marshal D. Teach. Arranging the 7 warlords of the sea on the left front, we can understand Marines' intentions, obviously because they are afraid that they will hide behind and not participate in the war. If it is in the front, wait until the Whitebeard pirates appear and the 10th pair will be 7 warlords of the sea. On the square, there stood 100,000 elite soldiers, all of which were elite troops from naval headquarters. Even the Titan troops took pictures. It is conceivable that Marine attaches great importance to the Whitebeard pirates. After all, they are the 4 emperors of New World, and they have the title of the strongest man in the world. Soon, Fire Fist Ace was taken to the execution platform by 2 Marines, and Marshal Sengoku also took over the phone bug. There is something I want to convey to you in advance. Advertisement, Portgas D. Ace, about the great significance of this man dying here today. Ace, state your father's name. Hearing Sengoku's words, Ace's face was tangled up. The last thing he wanted was for others to mention it. His father? What's the matter? How could Marshal Sengoku bring this up at this time? People all over the world watched the live stream in bewilderment, not knowing what Sengoku meant when he said these words. Ace was silent for a moment, then said, "My daddy is Whitebeard." No, Sengoku immediately denied it. Fire Fist Ace, he's Gore D. Roger's son? One Piece, Gore D. Roger. Everyone couldn't believe this fact. After more than 20 years, the blood of One Piece Gore D. Roger appeared in front of the world. As soon as these words came out, the world seemed to quiet down, everyone's eyes widened, their faces full of disbelief. Hurry up and notify the headquarters, prepare to publish the newspaper. This is big news, only Whitebeard, no one else. 1 year and 3 months after the father's death, a baby of the most wicked blood in the world was born. Still alive. Bloodline of One Piece? What is even more shocking is that he is about to be executed at this time? Relying on the little intelligence and possibilities that the CP organization had, we conducted a survey on the newborn babies, the babies who are about to be born, and their mothers. That is you. She deceived our eyes, no, the eyes of the world. In the South Blue there is an island called Batharula, and your mother's name is Portgas D. Rouge. Seeing that Ace refused to tell the truth, Sengoku looked straight ahead and continued. At that time, we were desperately looking for that man's child that might be left on a certain island. It's impossible for you not to know that your father is. It's no wonder that you were born in exchange for your mother's life. It can also be said to be a conspiracy by your mother with ulterior motives. This woman's behavior is far beyond our common sense. She was so dedicated to the child that she let the child stay in the womb for 20 months, and then died of exhaustion while giving birth to you. But nothing was found. Chapter 204. The world's #1/. While everyone was still immersed in this shocking fact, a gust of wind suddenly blew up at Naval Headquarters Marineford. Sengoku's small round glasses also became darker. There was an ominous premonition in his heart. I saw a huge shadow suddenly appearing on the fog-wrapped sea in the distance. Looking closely, huge ships are heading towards Naval Headquarters. The skulls on the flags of those ships can prove their identity as pirates. Find out where Whitebeard is, Ranger Naidoma, Lei Ching. Marine is using binoculars to determine the identities of those pirates. Each of them is famous in the New World, tilde the captain of the 4 seas. A total of 43 ships, no Whitebeard and captains were found. But there is no doubt that these are Whitebeard's pirates. While Marine was still looking for Whitebeard, on the calm sea, a wave suddenly rolled up. Crossed the fleet deployed by Marine on the sea, in the position close to the ground of Naval Headquarters. A huge pirate ship suddenly emerged from the bottom of the sea. This sudden scene also made many Marines open their mouths. Moby D*K is coming. 4 huge ships appeared directly in the bay, all of which belong to the Whitebeard pirates. That's Captain Marco, all 14 captains are here. At this moment, a burst of heavy footsteps came from the middle of the passage. He is as tall as a small titan, with his bare upper body showing his strong muscles, wearing a white cloak, and holding a mighty naginata in his hand, named Kong Yunki, one of the supreme sharp swords. White's beard with a crescent-shaped symbol on his face just appeared in everyone's sight. It brought an incomparable sense of oppression. Gu la 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 la, we haven't seen each other for decades, Sengoku? Sengoku on the execution platform has a serious look on his face. Whitebeard. Whitebeard looked towards the scaffold, where the people he cared about most were on. Is my dear son all right? There was a trace of cold sweat on Sengoku's forehead, only he knew how terrifying that man named Whitebeard was. Advertisement, I didn't expect to be invaded by him at such a close distance. Ace on the execution platform also looked at Whitebeard in disbelief, and then shouted loudly at the top of his lungs, Daddy. Where 7 warlords of the sea is, Gecko Moria looks at Whitebeard and laughs loudly. He. Here is our Shichibukai and Marine headquarters with the highest combat power, 3 admirals and 100,000 elites. The opponent is Whitebeard and more than 40 pirate ships under his command. How do you attack? Come here, Whitebeard. Fooferfer, it's really exciting. Doflamingo stuck out his tongue and licked it around, and then looked at Hawkeye at the side. Are you going to sit on the sidelines again? You're here to fight anyway? Hawkeye said nothing, just looked at Whitebeard with those piercing eyes. The pirate empress, Boa Hancock, glanced sideways at the people around her and sighed inwardly. There are stinky men everywhere, I really can't stand it, but it's also a man, my husband is really special. Clang. With a loud noise, Whitebeard directly inserted the naginata into the bow of the ship, squatted down and clenched his fists on his chest.
Drink. Whitebeard slammed his fists into the air on both sides, and there was the sound of glass shattering in the air, and countless transparent cracks appeared in front of people's eyes.
Why, what's the matter? A crack in the atmosphere. The Marines had no idea what was going on. Boom. The sea roared suddenly, and countless waves swept up. The huge waves around seemed to submerge the entire marine fort. This is the sea quake caused by shock fruit. Just when the Marines were feeling desperate, the 3 admirals under the execution platform, one of them, Aokiji, jumped into the air with a chill. Ice Age. The 2 beams of ice shot directly at the incoming waves, and in just a split second, the huge waves were frozen. Seeing this scene, Whitebeard still had a smile on his face. Aokiji kid? Aokiji stretched out his hand in midair, facing Whitebeard's direction, 2 thorny spears. Several 3-bladed spears made of ice stabbed directly at Whitebeard in the distance. Whitebeard punched sideways, and the ice spear shattered directly, and even Aokiji in midair turned into broken ice and fell into the sea. The moment the pile of crushed ice fell into the sea, the surrounding sea area was completely frozen. 0. Asking for flowers. Advertisement directly create an ice surface that can be used for combat. Come on. Let them see how powerful we are. 11. Oh. Countless pirates jumped directly from the ship, shouting one by one, brandishing their weapons and rushing to the territory of naval headquarters. It's finally started. Sengoku watched the 2 troops on the ground start to exchange fire and said seriously. At this moment, at 7 warlords of the sea, a figure suddenly took a step forward. This action directly surprised everyone. Doflamingo, huh? Kizaru. This is so rare. Akainu. That Hawkeye, who does what he wants to join the war. Watching Hawkeye's movements, Doflamingo spoke again. What, are you going to F*K? A famous sword worthy of the strongest swordsman in the world. The captain of the 3rd team, Diamond Joes. He is the diamond man of the diamond fruit. I saw that his whole body turned into a diamond and embraced Tongtian's sword light with both hands. Just to try, how different is the man in front of us from us? Tashigi. To be precise, the Black Knife. Knight. One of the only 12 supreme sharp swords in the world. The black blade is a chaotic blade with a heavy T-shaped pattern. Foil sword. I've been wanting to meet him since I was here. As long as you are a swordsman, you will think that he is the strongest man and want to fight him once. Is this the instinct of a swordsman? Boom. Then with a sudden move, the sword light shot directly into the sky, and the terrifying sword light actually shredded the clouds. Hawkeye took out the gorgeous knife directly from behind. Just when everyone was still thinking about how Whitebeard would take the world's largest slash, a burly figure rushed directly in front of Whitebeard. Eagle eyes kept on Whitebeard, shining brightly all over. Boa Hancock. No matter how strong a person is, just looking at his eyes Shendu will tremble, and he will be so scared that he can't move. Is this the man who is called Eagle Eye? Wherever the sword light went, the ice layer on the ground was completely cut off, and the sword light spanning 100 meters directly made the entire battlefield dazzling. Smoker. Is that the Black Knife from Legendary? A huge and sharp green sword light cut out directly. Hawkeye suddenly raised the knife in the air with one hand, and then dropped it suddenly. Base. Chapter 205, The Arrival of the Straw Hat Crew. The shattering of the clouds also announced the beginning of the war. Kizaru, Marco, Admiral and the Captain. They directly showed their respective abilities and began to confront each other on the battlefield. As soon as the war came up, it ushered in a fierce stage. Even Akainu has already started to shoot, and the magma that burned everything made the people on Whitebeard's side miserable. On the side of the Whitebeard pirates, a demon named Ozzy who was taller than the Titans, in order to rescue Ace, he did not hesitate to use his huge body as a target to forcefully break through. A group of pirates followed Lil Ozzy and rushed forward with a roar. Of course, the result is obvious. Not to mention Ozzy rushed to the scaffold, even the level of 7 warlords of the sea could not pass. Gecko Moria and Doflamingo's successive shots directly caused the demon to fall to the ground. Little Oz stretched out his hand. Obviously Ace was right in front of 010, within reach, but he couldn't do it anymore, and his consciousness became blurred. The action also slowed down. Thinking of the good times with Ace in my mind, I finally fell to the ground slowly. Oz. Ace shouted the name of his best friend on the execution platform. He watched his companion fall in front of him, feeling extremely painful in his heart. Garp was also sitting on the execution platform at this time. His still strong body that hadn't aged with age actually trembled a little at this moment. Old man, what should I do? Although he is Roger's child, Garp already has Ace on his back. Now that he is close at hand, but he can't save the other party, the second justice behind him is heavy and dazzling at this time. Ace, you be ****************. Why don't you live according to what the old man said? Unable to bear it any longer, Garp was a tough guy with tears running down his face. A marine in the audience sensed something was wrong at this time. Looking up at the sky, it seems that there is a ship falling to the ground. What's that? A surprise attack by the Whitebeard pirates. Kobe and Beru Meber also noticed this. What is that? As the ship kept falling, the voice above was also clearly audible. I said so, it's overdone. Are you trying to shirk responsibility? Advertisement. Who will help us stop? I'm rubber, so it's okay. Whole Luffy, think about us too. Above the sky, a group of people are descending rapidly, but the straw hat on the back of one of them is very obvious. Garp on the execution platform was already in a daze. Ace's eyes widened too. The people who came were Straw Hat crew, as well as the revolutionary Ivikov, Pluton Rayleigh, and Shichibukai Jinbei. There is even a group of inmates who escaped together, all following Buggy, the red-nosed clown. Boom! There was a tremor on the ice surface, splashing billows of dust and smoke. Not long after, the people who came also appeared on the battlefield. The people on Marine's side were going crazy. As Marine, of course they could recognize those familiar faces. One Piece right hand. Pluton Rayleigh, the Revolutionary Army, Ivikov, and Haishu Jinbei? What combination is this? Straw Hat crew, what's left? Isn't this the prisoner from Impelled Down? They're still wearing prison uniforms, why did they suddenly come here? Sengoku's veins popped on the high platform. The appearance of such a group of people will definitely greatly affect the changes on the battlefield. Garp. It's your D's family again. Garp put his hands on his head when he heard Sengoku's words, and shouted in disbelief. Luffy. Seeing that familiar figure, Ace felt even more painful in his heart. But the person involved, Luffy, stepped forward with a big smile on his face and shouted loudly, Ace. I'm here to save you. On the ice, after Whitebeard waved a group of people flying, he saw a familiar figure walking towards him. Gu la la la, is there another old guy? Rayleigh pushed his eyes and walked in front of Whitebeard. Sorry, old friend, I didn't want to come here. Ace is your partner, it's not my job to change, but... As he spoke, Rayleigh set his sights on the boy wearing a straw hat not far away. This kid, I saw something different in him, so, this time, I gave up retirement to help him. Advertisement. Gu la la la, Rayleigh, you be D. Don't think labor management will thank you, even if you came here for someone else. If you get in the way, I'll throw you into the bottom of the sea. Although the tone was very tough, one could still see a trace of joy in Baihuzi's eyes. They belonged to the old era. Many of them had already disappeared into the world, and being able to see someone they knew, even if that person was a former enemy, could not help feeling a little bit of nostalgia. What an old man who can't communicate. Rayleigh spread his hands and said helplessly. Whitebeard and Rayleigh stand together. This picture is simply not too shocking. Even those who watched the live broadcast trembled a little. The strongest man in the world, Whitebeard, the right hand of One Piece, Pluton Rayleigh. Is Marine going to fight two legends at the same time? This is getting more and more incomprehensible. Who will explain to me why these people appear in naval headquarters? Not to mention the public, Marine also became a little nervous when he saw Rayleigh. Just now Whitebeard's fighting power has been shown. That is simply inhumanly strong, and now there is a strong man from the old era who is also famous, which is too outrageous. After Luffy finished yelling, he led the people around him and started to rush forward. The Whitebeard pirates, who were still weak at first, saw these people, and for some reason, their morale suddenly rose. Get out of the way. Rubber, pistol, Murloc karate. Death wink. Boom boom boom. These people faced the Russian Marine, and directly output a burst of output. 3.5. Marine, who was already frightened, was rushed out of the way abruptly by them. Seeing this situation, everyone in the Whitebeard pirates also rushed over with the Straw Hat crew. It's scary Straw Hat boy, I never thought that in such a short period of time, I would come out of Impel Down and bring so many strong men with me. Sure enough, I should have arrested you in the first place. If it wasn't for... Thinking of a man with red hair, Kizaru felt powerless again. Why are redheads so strong? Nico Robin, did you and them come under Marine's eyes again? It seems that you have made up your mind this time. Aokiji stared at Nico Robin who was charging with Luffy and couldn't help but sigh to himself. Different from the thinking of the other two admirals, Akainu was impatient. Seeing the appearance of Luffy, the magma flowed out of his body. Chapter 206 Ace is saved. At this moment, Sengoku took the phone bug again and shouted to the live broadcast around the world. This Straw Hat kid on the field, Monkey D. Luffy, he is also of the blood of evil. His father, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, is the most vicious criminal in the world, Monkey D. Dragon. As soon as this remark came out, the world was shocked again. During the live broadcast just now, Luffy shouted that Ace is his big brother. I thought that One Piece had a second bloodline, but I didn't expect that, even though it was not the son of One Piece. But the name Dragon is not weaker than One Piece. These lawless pirates have never been the biggest headache for the world government. Although pirates burn, kill and loot all kinds of crimes, generally speaking, most pirates never take the initiative to provoke Marine. As long as they see Marine's warship, they will run away immediately. The Revolutionary Army is different, and now countries all over the world are spreading their will.
Several kingdoms have even been completely destroyed due to the arrival of the Revolutionary Army, and the people have been influenced by their will, one by one standing on the opposite side of the government. Therefore, the Revolutionary Army is the most troublesome existence for the world government. Because of this, Monkey D. Dragon, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, has become the '03 most vicious criminal in the world.
This dragon has always been like a cloud of fog among the common people, and even most of the Marines. No one knows what is going on with him. Hearing what Sengoku said, it was the first time I knew the dragon's last name. Unexpectedly, the Straw Hat Luffy turned out to be his son.
Boom. Punching the flying pirate, Smoker looked seriously at where Luffy was.
He remembered that in the town of Rog, he had already succeeded in arresting the Straw Hat Luffy, but the man suddenly came out to rescue him. I thought it was just doing it casually, but I didn't expect it to have such a relationship. Kebi and Bellamybo were also nervous for a while, but they didn't expect that the secret could no longer be hidden. Now that the father-son relationship between Monkey D. Dragon and Luffy is known, Monkey D. Garp, the hero of Marine, will definitely be known by the world to be related. How can there be such a coincidence that the surnames are the same? The person involved, Luffy, didn't care. He didn't care about his identity at all. If Garp hadn't told him before, he wouldn't even know that he had a father. Ignoring everyone's shock, Luffy was still rushing forward quickly. Sure enough, you are also in existence to be eliminated. When Akainu heard the news, his eyes were fixed on Luffy even more. Advertisement, Dark Hound. With a roar, Akainu's right arm turned into a ball of magma, and his fist turned into a ferocious dog's head, biting towards Luffy. Everywhere they went was scorched black, and all the pirates who wanted to stop were burned by the magma, and fell to the ground, howling. Straw Hat Boy, you just go ahead and don't worry about anything. Seeing Akainu rushing in this direction, Evakov told Luffy to rush forward, while he himself blocked directly behind. Death Tilda winked. Boom! An explosion sounded, and Evakov directly tried to stop Akainu's attack with all his strength. But obviously his strength is not enough. Akainu's red fist pierced through the thick smoke caused by the explosion and landed directly on Evakov's face, who also flew out in response. He fell to the ground and spit out a puff of black smoke. Unlike the inaction of the other two admirals, Akainu is determined to keep the Whitebeard pirates, including the Straw Hat crew, here. Straw Hat Little B****ch. With a wave of heat, Quality Yin followed Straw Hat crew closely from behind. Just when Akainu was about to catch up with Luffy, a white light flashed, and Rayleigh directly blocked Akainu's fist with the long sword in his hand. The magma scattered away, causing the surrounding people to scream. I'm a little old, and it's really hard to barely block it. A trace of sweat flowed from Rayleigh's forehead. I don't know if it was because of the heat from the magma, or because he has been fighting since impelled down and has been on the road, and his physical strength is a little weak. Pluton Rayleigh. Seeing the person in front of him, Akainu couldn't help but have a heavy look on his face. The two immediately started a battle. On the other hand, although the crew of the Straw Hat crew are still immature at this time, the halo on their bodies makes it miraculous that no one is injured on the battlefield. Third gear. Rubber, Titan civilian gun. Boom. Marine who stood in front of him was directly punched by Luffy. Allah, I didn't expect you all to come here, but next, it won't be your turn to play. A wall of ice suddenly blocked the direction of Luffy and others. Advertisement Aokiji, covered in ice crystals, also stood in front of them. It's Aokiji. Damn, another Marine admiral, what to do? Just when Luffy was about to fight against Aokiji over his own strength, a burly figure directly behind him rushed over. Sparkling clash. With a loud noise, Diamond Joes directly smashed the ice wall into pieces, and Admiral Aokiji was also turned into crushed ice. Straw Hat Boy, I'll leave ace to you. As for those who block the way, our Whitebeard pirates will help you solve it. Oh, please, this time will be his last brilliance. But even so, he still hugged the silly son in front of him into his arms, and patiently explained. Luffy didn't hesitate anymore, and continued to run forward. In fact, Whitebeard himself knows it, even though he is called the strongest man in the world. This is scary Tilda the Whitebeard pirates. 747 Ace's younger brother can't let you solve it so easily. But with his old body and suffering from illness, he is no longer as strong as he was when he was young. It wasn't until the third day that the captain of the Eddie Spider knew that he had misunderstood his father, wiped away his tears, and planned to die to show his ambition, but was stopped by Whitebeard. Marco the Phoenix, as the first team captain of the Whitebeard pirates, is powerful and able to stop Admiral for a short time. Just as everyone turned their attention to Straw Hat Crew, Whitebeard's son, who had been protected by him for half his life, directly pierced his chest with a knife. A phoenix bird wrapped in blue flames rushed towards Kizaru directly. On the way, he also punched the marine hero, his grandfather, Monkey D. Garp hard. Kizaru still had that unscrupulous appearance, originally planning to shoot the laser, but accompanied by the sound of birds chirping in his ears. Luffy went through countless difficult obstacles along the way, and finally came to the execution platform. After all, no one expected that there would be so many variables in this war. All over the battlefield, the fighting has become a mess, and the deployment that Marine made before has completely lost its effect. So what if you get hurt? It's still in your own child's hands. Still let go of his hand and turned his head. Chapter 207 I'm not too late, am I? As a result, the ladder flew upside down. Both Luffy and the watching Sengoku knew that it was not Luffy's power that knocked Garp into the air, but his love for his loved ones. The justice behind him made him breathless, and he could only express his heart in this way. Afterwards, Luffy protected Ace in the face of Sengoku's blow, and used Mr. 3's ability to create a key to open the Seastone handcuffs. Fire Ring. Pillar of Fire. The Tongtian fire pillar directly pierced the ground, burning all the marines. Fire Fist Ace was officially rescued. This scene boosted the morale of the pirates and the Whitebeard pirates, and Rayleigh, who was still fighting Akainu not far away, also showed a gratified smile. At this time, he was in a bit of a panic. His clothes were scorched in many places, and there was a scorched black spot on his arm. Looking at Akainu, it was also not so easy. The marine cloak behind him had a few sword marks, and there was a wound on his face, which was bleeding continuously. Seeing that Ace was rescued, Akainu no longer cared about Rayleigh, and directly turned into magma and melted into the ground. Stop. Amazon Cloud Sword. Clang. Just when Rayleigh was going to chase Akainu, a golden light hit. Kizaru took the sword made of light in his hand, and directly fought with Rayleigh. A wave of air splashed from the junction of the two swords, blowing away several people around. Mr. Luffy, it seems that I can't help you now. Pluton Rayleigh, it's the second time we met. I can't let you protect the Straw Hat Tilda. Whitebeard was even more happy when he saw that Ace was rescued. At this time, there were several wounds on his body, and blood was flowing continuously. Unlike the original, Akainu was kept blocked by Rayleigh, so he had no chance to fight Whitebeard. But Aokiji and Kizaru are doing their best, and there is no salted fish at all. After all, Pluton Rayleigh stopped an admiral. If the two admirals did nothing, Marine's face would be severely trampled into the ground. So after repelling Whitebeard's captains, Kizaru and Aokiji teamed up to attack Whitebeard directly. Advertisement: the wound on Whitebeard's body was also left just now. Little ones, it is my final captain's order to take everyone back to the New World. I am a remnant of the old era, and the New World has no ships that can carry me. After all, Whitebeard grabbed the air with both hands, and then slammed down for a while. In an instant, the earth was turned upside down, the buildings of naval headquarters were shattered, and the ground under their feet was broken into several pieces. Whitebeard's tall and straight body just stood there, leaving a back view for his children. Rayleigh couldn't help but have a wry smile on his face when he heard his old friend say that. He is also a remnant of the old era, but he has not enjoyed enough retirement life yet, and he will not die like this for the time being. Kizaru, who was fighting Rayleigh, was also a little surprised. He suddenly felt that Rayleigh's attacks became more fierce, and even almost left him with a few memorial marks a few times. Just as the crew of the Whitebeard pirates obeyed the captain's order and retreated, Akainu saw that Ace and the Straw Hat were about to run, so he went out behind Whitebeard. Everyone looked at Akainu angrily, but there was no way. Whitebeard gave the captain's order, and the captain's order was absolute. If he said retreat, he would retreat. But Ace didn't care about that. His whole body was on fire. You are not allowed to insult my savior. This era is called Whitebeard. After roaring, Ace slammed a punch, and the red flames rushed directly to Akainu, hitting his arms. Call. The red flame collided with the magma, and it was obvious that Ace did not develop the Mera fruit to a higher level, but the common flame, which could not compare to the high temperature of the magma. Ace was directly knocked into the air by the hot magma, rolling on the ground painfully while covering his arms. At this moment, the Ace life card in Luffy's hand fell to the ground, and Luffy walked forward. Akainu rushed over directly, hitting him with his fist wrapped in magma. Just when Ace was about to fight with his body, he saw Akainu suddenly stop moving and stand where he was. The surrounding marines also stared at Akainu's back with wide eyes. Sakazuki Admiral, you're back. He is. How did he appear here? Advertisement at the same time, the phone bug was broadcast live to Akainu, and all the people watching the live broadcast swallowed at the same time. That red windbreaker, the fluttering red high ponytail, and that handsome face. Isn't it the character on the cover of the newspaper a few days ago? Oh, why didn't you do it? I shouldn't be too late, right? Hearing the teasing words behind him, Akainu turned around slowly. The reason why he stopped just now was because he felt a mountain-like momentum pressing down on him. The great sinner, Namikaze Kirito. The sudden arrival of Namikaze Kirito made everyone stop fighting and stare at him fixedly. K-Lock Doll stood beside Namikaze Kirito, with a cigar in his mouth, still looking like he was hanging on the sky. Namikaze Kirito ignored everyone's shock, but looked at Akainu with interest. Thick smoke billowed from Akainu's body again, obviously planning to make a move. Doflamingo. Fufurfur, defeated Admiral, killed the Celestial Dragons? Is it Namikaze Kirito? Looks like we need to touch it? Boa Hancock. Tilda my dear is here, I must be looking for my concubine. Rayleigh. It's finally here, if you don't come, my old bones will be broken here. Sengoku frowned. Damn it, how did he come here? Is it to help the Whitebeard pirates? Hawkeye. The man who declared war on the world government, is that you? Akainu did not speak, his eyes were fixed on Namikaze Kirito. Kizaru. It's really a terrible monster, the wound on the old man's body is still hurting Tilda. Straw Hat crew was still worried about the captain's comfort, but at this time, seeing the appearance of Namikaze Tong, Nuo Zhao, he was inexplicably relieved. It is definitely not a good thing for such a man to come to the battlefield. After all, the deeds of killing 3 celestial dragons and defeating Admiral are all over the sea. Namikaze Kirito, since you have come to the battlefield, a great sinner, I cannot let you leave alive. Hey, why didn't you do anything? Don't worry, I didn't come to stop you, I just thought it was very interesting and wanted to take a look. This guy, did you get scared when you saw the captain? Robin. What a surprising man, no wonder he can win the heart of the pirate queen. Nami. I was rescued again, Luffy, you are really worrying. Chapter 208. Can you do it? Oh, can you do it? Namikaze Kirito asked jokingly. Having read the original book in the previous life, Ace's death may be a source of uneasiness for countless people, even Namikaze Kirito, who hated Akainu very much at the time. But after thinking about it, in the entire Summit War, there are countless strong men in Marine, and the only one who works hard is Akainu. After a peak battle between Kizaru and Aokiji, there may not be much contact with him, but Akainu was beaten to death. Of course, his character of adhering to absolute justice and preferring to kill the wrong is very unpleasant. However, at this time, Namikaze Kirito did not have much dislike for Lot. He just couldn't see those celestial dragons. As for Marine, it is just a neutral attitude. Hearing Namikaze Kirito's words, Akainu's eyes were full of anger. It was this man in front of him that discredited Marine and the world government, compared to the Whitebeard pirates. Namikaze Kirito was the biggest threat, and the 5 elders had a death order. Such sinners who do not take the world government seriously must be eliminated first. Great eruption. Akainu stopped talking nonsense, his right fist turned into billowing magma, and rushed towards Namikaze Kirito. The iron fist made by magma transformation 540 is simply a battlefield killer. Whether the people around are marines or pirates, as long as they are slightly rubbed by the magma, they will be seriously injured. That terrifying high temperature is not something ordinary people can resist. Wood style, wooden golem jutsu. Namikaze Kirito didn't want to be beaten after seeing Akainu's magnification. With a clap of both hands, the ground suddenly began to shake violently. Then countless trees took root and sprouted, and began to grow crazily. A wooden golem tens of meters high slowly appeared in front of everyone. Everyone on the battlefield, including the people watching the live broadcast, was shocked by the huge wooden golem made by Namikaze Kirito. The height of this wooden golem is even higher than that of the Titans. The hot magma hit the wooden golem, but it only left a piece of scorched black on wooden golem's thick thighs, emitting billowing thick smoke. The reason why wood style has become so terrifying is not only because of the power of wood style itself. Advertisement, it is the strange power contained within Namikaze Kirito. In the Hokage world, Namikaze Kirito was already the master of the world, and his life characteristics have completely changed. So the wood style used is not comparable to Senju Hashirama in Hokage. Whether it is defense or attack power, they have increased by several levels, which is why Namikaze Kirito feels that in this world, only wood style can be used to suppress. It is entirely because its own strength is sufficient to face any danger. Kizaru also watched this shocking scene from a distance, and said with a little sigh, didn't he use all his strength in the battle with the old man that day? Boa Hancock's beautiful eyes almost turned into 2 hearts, seeing his man standing on top of the wooden golem, with that domineering look, is simply too handsome. Straw Hat Crew, it was the first time I saw Namikaze Kirito use ability. Red-haired man, do you have such terrifying power? Looking at the wooden golem that was tens of meters away, Luffy sat on the ground and spoke in a daze. Namikaze Kirito, he looks about the same age, how can he be so strong? Nami was also shocked, and the successive changes made her almost lose her strength. I don't know why, when I saw Namikaze Kirito, I subconsciously relaxed, thinking that this person in front of me would not hurt them. Nico Robin has a hint of loneliness in her beautiful eyes. She was thinking, if at that time, someone in her hometown could be so strong, the solution might be different. But there is no medicine for regret in the world, not to mention that I have a group of trustworthy partners around me now. Doflamingo's usual carefree expression was completely gone, replaced by a heavy expression. Hey, is this a big joke? Where did this monster come from? Clock Doll stood on the ground, watching his captain. Using all his strength, he couldn't help but spit out a smoke ring. The power to subvert the world. No wonder he doesn't like ancient weapon. His own ability is already destroying the world power. At this time, Namikaze Kirito stood tens of meters above his head and shouted loudly, Marine! You guys made the first move this time, don't blame me. Before the Marines could react, the huge wooden golem started to show its power. Boom boom boom. Such a tall titan has a huge range of lethality every time it moves. Just walking forward makes a deafening roar. The Marines and pirates who had no time to escape turned into pureed meat. Damn villain. Meteor volcano. Although Akainu doesn't care about other people's death, if Namikaze Kirito continues to make trouble like this, wouldn't this war marine become the biggest joke? Raising both hands to the sky, countless hot magma meteorites sprayed out. Advertisement Aokiji Kizaru, who was battling Whitebeard and Rayleigh at a distance, also joined Akainu.
They clearly know that now Namikaze Kirito has become the biggest variable on the battlefield, if they can't stop each other.
Not only will the war be lost, but Marine will also suffer heavy losses. 3 admirals face an enemy at the same time, which has never happened before. Even Marshal Sengoku is already running in this direction. Call. The magma stones rolling in heat waves kept hitting Wooden Golem's body, but it was useless at all, unable to stop Wooden Golem's actions at all. Seeing this, Aokiji didn't hesitate, and came directly to Wooden Golem's feet, putting his hands on the ground. The fruit's ability was activated directly, countless roars sounded. Kizaru and Akainu, including Aokiji, and even Garp rushed over to face the fierce strength of Namikaze Kirito. Buddha. It must be completely destroyed. With Aokiji as the center, the surrounding ground was frozen, and wooden golem's feet began to be fixed on the ground. Namikaze Kirito. You stay here. Boom boom boom. Ka ka ka. This is Naval Headquarters, Marineford, which symbolizes the justice of the world. If a villain like you is allowed to do evil, then our Marine will shame justice. Ice Age. As he spoke, the gold Buddha's body was filled with brilliance, and he directly patted it with one hand. I saw that Sengoku was shining with golden light all over his body, and his body size became extremely large. Although he was not as tall as the wooden golem, he was not much different from the human race. Even after such a brief pause, Sengoku rushed over. Countless people's eyes were fixed on this shocking scene. Marines' powerhouses came out in full force, and they actually used their full strength against a person who had just stepped out of the sea. Whizzing. There were billowing waves on the sea not far away. Chapter 209. Wood style that suppresses the world because of the airwaves caused by the attack. The surrounding marines and pirates all flew upside down, and the buildings on the island even collapsed in a large area. Namikaze Kirito doesn't have Luffy's background, he just left information that just came out of the sea in this world. So the people in Marine have no worries about attacking. Even Aokiji and Kizaru, the sweat on their foreheads can prove that the two of them have put in all their strength. Wooden golem's body, splashed billows of dust and smoke. White halos, yellow lasers, magma, and ice crystals are mixed in the dust and smoke, and there are violent explosions from time to time. Finally, in people's eyes, the mountain-like wooden golem began to fall slowly. Win. We won. Even the most vicious criminal is still no match for our Marine's strongest combat power. A group of Marines who didn't know the truth were cheering crazily. They were all in despair because they saw the towering wooden golem appearing before. You know, they are fighting against Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world, and Pluton Rayleigh. As a result, another such powerful sinner appeared. At first they thought things were out of control, but the Marshal and the Admirals gave them a reassurance. Different from the surrounding Marines, the strong men on the battlefield were all frowning, looking at the direction in which the wooden golem fell. Their observation Haki could sense that Namikaze Kirito wasn't hurt at all. Sure enough, as the thick smoke dispersed, a man standing on the ruins of wooden golem gradually appeared in everyone's sight. The red hair fluttering in the wind looks very chic. Really, the wooden golem I just made, you broke him just like that, you really didn't show mercy to me. Sengoku looked at Namikaze Kirito who was not damaged at all, although he was shocked in his heart, his eyes were full of firmness. We don't need to be merciful when dealing with the evil party. Oh, is it so? Namikaze Kirito continued jokingly. I don't know Marshal Sengoku, what did I do to become the villain you call? You killed 3 world nobles, isn't this the biggest evil party? Advertisement, you mean the 3 celestial dragons? As soon as these words came out, the whole world fell into a strange silence. This was a live broadcast, and Namikaze Kirito's words were directly heard by people in every corner of the world. Called celestial dragons? Boa Hancock looked at Namikaze Kirito fascinated. As expected of a man who was a concubine, that's right, those bastards are a bunch of pigs. Sengoku's face was full of anger. Namikaze Kirito, do you know that taking action against the descendants of the creator is itself a crime? Don't laugh so hard, what a creator. Namikaze Kirito let out a sneer, and continued. I said Marshal Sengoku, since you Marines are wearing the cloak of justice and think that what you do is justice, you should be very clear about what those celestial dragons did. In other words, people all over the world are very clear, but you dare not say it, because they are some shit descendants of the creator. However, this appellation is completely untenable to me. If the high-level officials of your world government are all pigs like this, or cover up those pigs, then let's go to war. Speaking of the 3 words of war, Namikaze Kirito laughed, and his white teeth were broadcasted all over the world. Holy Land, Marijoy. 5 elders was also watching the live broadcast at this time. B****************. Where the hell did Namikaze Kirito come from, this sinner? So presumptuous. If you don't take our world government seriously, you must kill it. Even threaten to declare war on the world government? This person can't stay. Master I am also means the same thing. Now we need to fight against Namikaze Kirito with all our strength. Tell Sengoku, Whitebeard, and even Ace to leave, but this Namikaze Kirito will pay any price and arrest him or even skip it. On the battlefield, both Marines and pirates were shocked by Namikaze Kirito's declaration of Haki. Really declare war on the world government, or declare war on the world government in naval headquarters? This didn't take people seriously at all. Even the Monkey D. Dragon, known as the most ferocious criminal in the world, doesn't have such audacity. Sure enough, Sengoku and Garp, as well as the 3 admirals, each looked at Namikaze Kirito with gloomy eyes. This war was broadcast live all over the world. If this person hadn't been kept here, the entire Marine would have been nailed to the pillar of shame if nothing else happened. 0. Asking for flowers. Shut up, Namikaze Kirito, you. Advertisement, yo Sengoku. Before Sengoku finished speaking, Namikaze Kirito interrupted the other party first. Your fruitability is the great Buddha, and you are also called Sengoku of Buddha. Next, I will let you see, what is the difference between your Buddha and mine? What a difference. Saying that, Namikaze Kirito clasped his hands together again. Then the ground shook violently again. This time the vibration was not comparable to before. Even when Whitebeard used the force of the vibration, it was nothing more than that. Boom. Accompanied by the deafening roar, everyone suddenly realized that the entire sky had darkened. Looking carefully, the sky was dark, and at some point on the battlefield, a wooden golem Buddha statue with countless arms appeared. How to fight this? Namikaze Kirito was standing on the Buddha statue with a smile on his lips. The previous wooden golem was shocking enough, but now when the Buddha statue comes out, Sengoku is in front of it, which is even the size of a hand, and at a glance, this Buddha statue has thousands of hands. The wooden golem, which is tens of meters long, is like a chicken in front of this Buddha statue. Marine can't imagine how to face such an enemy. Do not be afraid. It's simply not a one-dimensional person. The height of this Buddha statue is hundreds of meters, and it is already completely like a towering titan. Wood style. True, several thousand hands. What kind of ability is Namikaze Kirito, devil fruit? Will it be so scary? This Buddha statue is completely incomparable with the previous wooden golem. Damn it, how could he have such a strong ability? This is beyond what humans can do, right? Just when Marine soldiers fell into despair, Sengoku opened his mouth again in a low voice. The appearance of the Senju Buddha statue caused everyone's brains to crash. Not even the devil Oz can get enough of it. Hey, are you kidding me? I must be dreaming. Marine, let us determine our position. Next, I wonder if the destruction of this marine fort will allow you to continue to guard the so-called justice. What? What is this? Chapter 210 The Heavy Loss Marine. Namikaze Kirito made such a monster, Marine's morale dropped to the lowest point. As the Marshal Sengoku couldn't tell, so he immediately continued loudly. The justice behind us is the hope of the people. Now we stand in this marine fort, the center of justice. If even we are afraid, what can the people rely on? As long as there is one of us standing on this land, it will symbolize justice. No matter what evil party the opponent is, it will be suppressed by justice. Listening to such a moving speech by the Marshal, the Marines felt as if they had been pumped, and their morale rose again. One by one clenched the weapons in their hands, and there was no more fear in their eyes, and some only remained determined to die. Of course Doflamingo in the distance also heard this sentence. He didn't know when, 843, had come to K. Lockdoll's side. For crocodile B ******** D. It seems that you have chosen a monster captain. Huh? Lockdoll didn't speak, and made a hum sound from his nose, and then looked at Doflamingo with gloomy eyes, as if he was puzzled by Shen who was accosted by the other party. I still want you to be my subordinate. It's a pity. With this monster here, it seems that you will soon become famous in the sea, but you have to survive today. Sengoku is right. Justice must prevail. Only the victor is justice. On the other side, Namikaze Kirito was standing on top of the Buddha statue, looking at the Marines with a smile on his face. Is the land under your feet called the center of justice? Then, if I defeat your so-called center of justice, will you still be so determined? Whoosh! A white figure suddenly appeared in front of Namikaze Kirito. B ******** D-boy. You're 100 years too early to sink Marineford. Garp. Facing Garp's mountain-like punch, Kirito's eyes lit up, and he also punched out with his right fist. Boom. A huge airwave exploded in midair and the two fists collided fiercely. The Marine and the pirates who were close to the Buddha statue even had blood flowing from their ears. The shock wave caused by the collision directly distorted the surrounding air. Advertisement, should I be called a Marine hero? Namikaze Kirito sighed, facing Garp's punch, even he felt a little bit of experience. Garp's face was full of shock. Hey, are you kidding? The old man has already used all his strength. Under everyone's shocking eyes, there was a crack in the Buddha statue under Namikaze Kirito's feet, and then his whole body suddenly exerted strength. Garp flew upside down. Hero Marine, the powerhouse at the pinnacle of physical skills, was kicked out of the air when he was punching in the face. Boom. I saw that Garp smashed countless buildings directly, and then embedded in the ground, and even directly smashed a deep hole in the ground. Then Namikaze Kirito on the Buddha statue flexed his wrist. He turned his gaze to the Marines below. Show me how solid your so-called justice is. Saying that, Namikaze Kirito clasped his hands together, a Buddha on the top. Click. There was a harsh wooden sound, and thousands of hands behind the Senju Buddha statue moved at the same time, and then they all patted down. Retreat quickly. This B ****** D attacks indiscriminately. Damn it. Is this going to deal with Marine or us pirates? All retreat. A group of pirates looked at the thousands of arms that were about to fall, and they all fled in all directions. Unlike Marine, they never thought about protecting the island. It would be unlucky to be photographed by this Buddha statue. Sengoku's complexion became uglier than ever, the wooden arm pierced the air, and it could be seen how powerful the additional force was. But he can't retreat. Once he retreats, what will happen to the Marine soldiers of Common? Sengoku raised his hands high, and two shockwaves appeared on his hands, obviously planning to resist. Standing beside him were three admirals, and Garp was struggling to crawl out of the pit. His face was covered in dust, and his marine cloak was extremely dirty. But he didn't have a chance to change his clothes now, so he quickly came to Sengoku's side, ready to strike with a pair of iron fists. Advertisement Marine soldiers also stood beside the Marshal, raising their weapons one by one. Finally, under the watchful eyes of countless people, with the roaring sound of the first arm of the Buddha statue, it hit the land of Marineford. The remaining 999 arms also fell down one after another. Boom boom boom. The air was torn apart, the ground was trembling, and countless people covered their ears, watching this devastating scene with dumbstruck eyes. Countless huge waves have been rolled up on the sea surface, and they are flooding the island.
Dust and smoke were splashed on the ground of the island, and noises and roars could still be heard in the thick smoke. Everyone is watching this scene. Everyone, without exception, had a trace of cold sweat on their foreheads.
I was thinking in my heart, where did this monster come from?
Is such an attack really possible for humans? After a long time, the sea gradually calmed down, and the billowing dust and smoke began to disperse. At this time, the Buddha statue with big ears had turned into countless wooden blocks and fell to the ground.
The live broadcast also clearly appeared in the cause of the public. The horse, Marineford, was destroyed. I don't know who was the first to speak in the crowd, and then everyone exclaimed. On the screen, you can see the tragedy of naval headquarters at this time, and the buildings on the island have completely turned into ruins. The whole island is even more torn apart, a complete island has become several small islands, and the seawater is constantly flowing in the ditches. Marine, who was facing the attack of the Buddha statue before, was even more bright red, with 3.4 layers of broken flesh and blood thick, even the seawater could not wash it away. Unlike Marine, when Namikaze Minato was about to attack, most of the pirates boarded the pirate ship, although some people were involved. But that was nothing compared to Marine's loss. As for Marine's highest combat power, the 3 admirals and Sengoku Garp, the 5 high-ranking officers, are squatting on the ground at this time, and each of them has a bright red mouth. Obviously injured, but fortunately, they did not lose their ability to move. Namikaze Minato used armament hockey in the top Buddha just now, even if it didn't completely cover it, it was enough to hit the Logia demon fruit power. Wah! Namikaze Minato. Looking at the tragic situation around him, Sengoku almost lost his breath and passed out. Chapter 211. Total defeat. These are all marine soldiers with justice on their backs, and now they died here for no apparent reason. Sengoku doesn't hate Namikaze Minato, but at the same time, he has more resentment towards the world government in his heart. If it wasn't for those 3 celestial dragons who were stupid and provoked Namikaze Minato, how could such a thing happen? You know, when Namikaze Minato appeared just now, he said that he didn't actually mean to do anything to Marine, he just didn't like celestial dragons. However, as a combat unit of the world government, Marine was still the first to be implicated. Furthermore, he is also a little horrified by Namikaze's terrifying combat power. There are many legends in the sea. Many years ago, there was the real sea overlord Rox. The 4 emperors are just the crew of Rox, but even Rox, with the cooperation of Garp and Roger, was successfully defeated. As for Namikaze Minato, he has dispatched 5 top combat forces on his side. Not to mention hurting the opponent, but being defeated by the opponent together. Buddha Sengoku, now, standing on the broken land, can you still say the word justice? Namikaze Minato stood in front of the 5 marine powerhouses and spoke softly. HMPH, Sengoku let out a cold snort. Marineford is a symbol of justice, but as long as there is one of us standing, we will bear justice, even if the island is broken by you. Justice will not be lost. Ha 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 ha, what a joke, Marshal Sengoku, I am fighting your world government because of the celestial dragons, now look around you. These marines turned into a pile of unrecognizable pieces of meat because of those pigs. As a marshal, can you continue to use that illusory justice to face their families? Hearing this, Sengoku's expression became a bit slumped. Yes, the deaths of these soldiers were caused by Namikaze Minato, but in the final analysis, it was also because of maintaining the dignity of the nobles of the world. But is it really worth it? If it is to protect the people and fight against evil, even if it is sacrificed, it is still meaningful to die. Now in this situation, can I face the soldier's family without any guilt? Just when Sengoku was in a daze, Garp stepped forward and patted his old buddy on the shoulder. Sengoku, don't listen to him continue, you just have to stick to your own justice. If you, as the Marine Marshal, are confused, how can the remaining soldiers wield their weapons? Advertisement. Hearing this, Sengoku's eyes became firm again. Namikaze Minato, no matter what the cause is, I let these soldiers attack like you. Now, in order to give them an explanation, I will resign as the Marshal, but now. At this point, Sengoku once again burst into a powerful momentum. Now I will arrest you in the name of justice, Bo. Daddy. Just when Sengoku was about to say something, a hoarse roar sounded, and everyone looked at the source of the sound. At some point, a group of pirates came to Whitebeard's side. Because of the attack on the Senju Buddha just now, everyone focused on this side, and no one looked at Whitebeard's situation. And this also caused the seriously injured Whitebeard to be attacked directly, and now he is dying. His body is covered with bloodstains and bullet holes. He suffered a lot of injuries when Aokiji and Kizaru teamed up before. This is why Akainu did not attack him like the original book, and why it still ended like this. No one can resist the combination of 2 marine admirals, except, of course, Namikaze Minato. Blackbeard, Marshal D. Teach. Shiryu of the Rain, King of Evil Government. Aren't these all prisoners of Impel Down? Someone recognized the gang of pirates, led by none other than Blackbeard. Gia ha 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 ha, what a gorgeous performance, Namikaze Minato, but I will not lose to you. To be honest, your ability and Daddy's ability make it difficult for me to choose.
But I know that the current me is not your opponent at all, so I have to gain strength first, and then I can find you in the end.
With that said, Blackbeard's gang dealt Whitebeard a fatal blow. The Whitebeard pirates are all on the pirate ship, and there is no time to rescue them. Seeing this scene, Ace was even more frightened, and was about to rush over, but Marco saw the criminals around Blackbeard, and quickly grabbed Ace. Just now their father issued the final captain's order, that is to say, they have to retreat. With the appearance of Namikaze Kirito, the current war situation has become very strange. If one is not careful, the previous efforts will be in vain. Seeing that no one came to stop him, Blackbeard directly covered Whitebeard with a black cloth, and then he walked in. Not long after, Blackbeard lifted the black cloth with a smile on his face, and Whitebeard's body was still standing upright, with no visible changes at all. Jihahaha. Marine, and Namikaze Kirito, let's confirm our hostile relationship now. Advertisement. As he spoke, Blackbeard clenched his right fist to his chest. Everyone in the Whitebeard pirates saw that familiar posture. Wasn't it exactly what their father looked like when he activated his ability? Jihahaha. Next, it will be the era of lousy, die, wake up. After saying that, Blackbeard slammed his fist out. Ka. There was a sound of glass shattering in the atmosphere, and the destroyed atmosphere at Blackbeard's fist was visible to the naked eye.
Then countless cracks began to widen. It made the already fragmented Marineford 863 even worse.
Seeing this scene, the members of the Blackbeard pirates smiled ferociously. Their plan finally succeeded, and it seems that the pirates don't need to be disbanded. There is another person who is watching Namikaze Kirito intently, and that person is Shiryu of the Rain. When seeing Namikaze Kirito and impelled down, Shiryu of the Rain had a strange feeling in his heart. Blackbeard's ability has been obtained. Everyone has a shocked expression, but only Namikaze Kirito's eyes are still so calm. Even with a hint of a smile. Why is he still shocked when he sees such a strange thing? Could it be that his strength has reached the point of ignoring everything? Teach! Ace roared loudly, his tone full of hatred.
But Blackbeard wouldn't bother with such hatred. Before he got the shock fruit, Ace was no match for him. Now that he got the shock fruit, Blackbeard is full of confidence in his heart. Even looking at Namikaze Kirito, there is a hint of greed.
No way, the ability Namikaze Kirito showed just now is really terrifying.
I just don't know what kind of fruit the other party is. It finally worked, Blackbeard. With a whoosh, Namikaze Kirito came in front of Blackbeard and spoke with a smile on his face.
Chapter 212 2 Dark Fruits? Jihahaha, Namikaze Kirito, are you here to enjoy my performance up close?
Faced with the sudden appearance of Namikaze Kirito, Blackbeard has no fear. He now possesses two powerful abilities. Although he doesn't show it too much, he is really confident in his heart.
Just like Whitebeard commented on him in the original book, ego is his biggest weakness. Even though he has confidence in his own ability, he doesn't want to think about it. Namikaze Kirito is against 5 Marines' top combat power. The smooth execution of the plan did make Blackbeard feel a little giddy.
At this time, Namikaze Kirito said with a slight joke, "How is it? Teach, since you have obtained the abilities of these two fruits, you are slightly qualified to be my companion, especially with your bad personality."
I simply admire you so much. Jihahaha, Namikaze Kirito, are you kidding me?
With that said, Blackbeard raised both hands. Black smoke wafted from one hand, while the other hand was wrapped in a transparent white light curtain.
Now that I have the abilities of Dark Fruit and Shock Fruit, I am invincible. However, you are right about one thing. You who disturbed Marine already have the qualifications to be my partner. Why don't you join Lousy? Or give me your ability?
The greed in Blackbeard's eyes was clearly visible. He was really longed for by Namikaze Kirito's heaven-defying ability just now. Even though he has got the shock fruit, he is still not satisfied with it.
Especially after seeing the Senju Buddha statue. My ability? Namikaze Kirito was a little funny, but he didn't expect Blackbeard to focus on his wood style. When I was in the Hokage world, I always relied on the dark fruit strengthened by the system to steal other people's abilities, but I never thought that one day it would happen to me.
But, as if thinking of something, Namikaze Kirito raised the corner of his mouth.
The battle with everyone in Marine just now, and the sudden appearance of Blackbeard, the ability of dark fruit and shock fruit on his body.
Let the lock in his body loosen a bit. How about it, Namikaze Kirito?
Advertisement. Seeing that Namikaze Kirito did not speak, Blackbeard continued to ask.
My ability. If you want it, you can get it. Namikaze Kirito's quick opening made Blackbeard startled, but the suspicion was suppressed by the pride of possessing two abilities.
Gia ha 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 ha, then your ability will belong to me. As long as I get your ability again, this world will belong to me. Having said that, Blackbeard stretched out his hand directly, and the dark ability emerged again. The surrounding Marines and pirates, including Blackbeard's companions, watched this scene with great interest. One is Namikaze Kirito, who shows true terrifying strength, and the other is Dark Fruit, who has been called the most vicious in history, plus Whitebeard's Shock Fruit ability. If these two people match up, it will definitely be very interesting. Only Akainu, those angry eyes were thinking wildly. He thought that as soon as Blackbeard and Namikaze Kirito showed their weakness, he would wipe them out in one fell swoop. With this idea, there is also Sengoku at the side, and the thick layer of flesh and blood on the ground around him seems to be floating in his heart. If the war ends in this way, the world that has seen the live broadcast of the entire scene will probably boil up. The face of the world government and Marine will be trampled underfoot. On Blackbeard's side, it was obvious that Dark Fruit's dark power had surged out, but Namikaze Kirito in front of him didn't seem to have any intention of avoiding it. The more he looked at each other, the more foreboding Blackbeard felt in his heart. In order to break through the doubts in his heart, he didn't hesitate anymore. He spread out his right hand directly, and a black vortex swirled right at Namikaze Kirito. Dark water. A strong gravitational force suddenly came from Blackbeard's hand, and Dark Fruit's ability was directly exerted by him to ultimate. But right away, a scene that completely overturned his three views appeared. I saw Namikaze Kirito also extended his right hand. What is surprising is that a puff of dark smoke appeared on his hand, and then a large puff of dark smoke appeared. Namikaze Kirito looked at the shocked expression of Blackbeard in front of him, and an inexplicable smile rose from the corner of his mouth. BK. Advertisement. It is also the ability of Dark Fruit to appear on the field, and it has a stronger gravitational force than Blackbeard's. How can it be? Not to mention Blackbeard himself, but the people around and watching the live broadcast have grown their mouths. Devil Fruit will not repeat itself. Only one person can possess the ability of each fruit. Only after the person with the ability dies, Devil Fruit will randomly grow in a corner of the world within an unknown period of time. But now, Blackbeard obtained Whitebeard's ability in an inexplicable way, which is enough to shock everyone. But it is acceptable. After all, Whitebeard is dead. Maybe Blackbeard has found some way to make people have the ability to eat two fruits. Namikaze Kirito can't justify it. Blackbeard with the ability of Dark Fruit is right in front of him. How could two identical Devil Fruit abilities appear at the same time? Blackbeard was so shocked by the scene in front of him that he couldn't speak at all. Especially when his body was being attracted by the gravity of Namikaze Kirito's hand. Boom. With a muffled sound, Blackbeard was sucked into Namikaze Kirito's palm. He finally realized what it was like to use Dark Fruit's ability on someone else. The Dark Fruit and Shock Fruit in the body seemed to have completely disappeared, and the body also had a feeling of weakness. Teach, what's the matter? The scene in front of you makes you unable to speak? Deli how? Namikaze Kirito didn't attack in a hurry. Instead he grabbed Blackbeard and spoke with a smile, as if he was chatting with an old friend. Namikaze Kirito, how could you have the ability of Dark Fruit? This is absolutely not true. What is your Devil Fruit ability? Blackbeard's expression was a bit hideous. How long did it take him to meet Dark Fruit? He even gave up everything for Dark Fruit. This is the beginning of his ambition and his confidence. Now Namikaze Kirito in front of him also used the ability of Dark Fruit. How to make him not doubt himself? Don't you feel it? I also use the ability of Dark Fruit, but it seems that your fruit ability is not as good as mine, otherwise I won't catch you, right? As he spoke, Namikaze Kirito clenched his fist with the other hand and began to slowly charge backwards. As if sensing something, Blackbeard's eyes widened. Chapter 213. How could there be someone like you? Impossible. This is impossible. In the eyes of everyone, Blackbeard suddenly struggled crazily, shouting that it was impossible, because they were far away and they didn't know what happened. But soon, their curiosity turned into shock again, even despair. A white halo appeared above Namikaze Kirito's charged fist. This is clearly the power of shock. How could Blackbeard, who already has Shock Fruit, fail to recognize it? It was also because he sensed the breath of Shock Fruit just now that he became crazily struggling. Feel the power. Namikaze Kirito slammed his fist straight into Blackbeard's chest. Ka ka ka. The atmosphere was completely shattered by the force of the shock, and the cracks in the air were clearly visible. Blackbeard vomited blood directly, and flew backwards. The ground behind him, including those villains of the Blackbeard pirates, were all vomited blood at the same time, and were blown away. Shock Fruit. It's Shock Fruit. Namikaze Kirito, can he not only use Dark Fruit, but also Shock Fruit? Combined with his own ability to manipulate trees, how can a person have 3 fruit 223 abilities? No. The point now is not to think about why Blackbeard has the ability of 2 kinds of fruits, but both of them appeared on Namikaze Kirito. What is going on with him? Dad's ability appeared on 2 people. What the hell happened? There are people like Namikaze Kirito in the world. What will happen in the future? Seeing the tragic situation of the Blackbeard pirates, everyone finally understood why Blackbeard was struggling just now. Namikaze Kirito used 2 of his abilities, and everyone would do the same. Sengoku looked at everything that happened here, and he, known as the resourceful general, also had a trace of despair in his heart. How can this kind of enemy be defeated? At the same time, Holy Land, Marijoy. 5 elders was also dumbfounded watching what happened on the screen. Advertisement, impossible. How could someone have such power? What kind of ability is he? The ability to manipulate trees before made me feel wrong. I have never seen the strange ability of that fruit. Namikaze Kirito, Marine, ADBB. Even made a move on Garp. Can't they take it down? It seems that we must consider our strategy. This person is only one person, and his threat level has surpassed those 4 pirates in New World. When the matter is over, let's report to Lord I Am. At this time, the members of the Blackbeard pirates stood up one by one with difficulty. The ability to withstand Shock Fruit at close range is not fun. They only felt that their internal organs were about to be shattered. Blackbeard even yelled on the ground, knowing that his Dark Fruit is different from the strengthened Namikaze Kirito. Dark Fruit that absorbs everything, even pain can be absorbed, and it doubles the normal pain. Even though his body seemed to be broken, Blackbeard still stood up and looked at his hands anxiously. With the power of 1 black and 1 white on his hands, he felt a little relieved. After Namikaze Kirito used 2 abilities just now, he thought his abilities would disappear, and this was his reliance. Now seeing that he can still use his abilities, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief, but immediately looked at Namikaze Kirito warily. How could there be someone like you in the world? Namikaze Kirito walked towards Blackbeard slowly and spoke softly. Originally, I admired your character very much. In this world, wood style is enough for me, so I thought of making you my subordinate. After all, it is very interesting to have subordinates with the same ability. But, speaking of this, Namikaze Kirito intentionally made a regretful expression on his face. Your character really won't let you join me at ease, just like what Whitebeard said, you are suspicious, conceited, and arrogant. How can you be someone else's subordinate with peace of mind for a long time like this? The moment you got the dark fruit, without any hesitation, it directly strengthened your determination to rebel against the Whitebeard pirates. Let me take back your ability. With the last words spoken, Namikaze Kirito had come before Blackbeard. Impossible. I don't believe it. Blackbeard's fist charged again, and White's shock power covered his fist. Little ones, come with me. Advertisement. Although Blackbeard has a group of powerful partners, but these people's personalities are worse than the other. If Namikaze Kirito does not show up, they will of course take a gamble with Blackbeard. However, he was crushed by the opponent in every aspect. Whitebeard was seriously injured and was already dying. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the strongest man in the world to stand in front of them and let them face each other head-on. Namikaze Kirito is different, not to mention that he doesn't have any scars on his body. Even if he is injured, with such a powerful strength, who would seek death? Hateful. Only those who had followed Blackbeard at first stood beside their captain. Blackbeard looked at Namikaze Kirito with a ferocious look in his eyes. He knew that what the other party said was very clear. If he couldn't solve the other party, he might die here. Once a person dies, all ambitions and expectations will disappear. So he can't die. Go to hell. Blackbeard's gaze was fixed, and the power of the shock in his hand was suddenly struck out. Namikaze Kirito didn't dodge either, and also raised his fists, opposing with the same shock force. Since he loves the character of Blackbeard, he will be given the respect he deserves. Boom. A deafening roar sounded, and the two shocking forces collided together. Numerous cracks occurred in the surrounding atmosphere, the waves were monstrous, and the sky darkened. Between heaven and earth, there is only the ripple of White's power. Not only did it take a long time, but the atmosphere returned to normal and the sky became clear again. The place where Namikaze Kirito and Blackbeard confronted has become a vacuum, and the surrounding Blackbeard pirates have long gone to nowhere. Blackbeard himself seemed to have been turned into fragments and disappeared into the world. Only a piece of Black's clothes not far away can prove the existence of Blackbeard. Farewell, Marshal D. Teach. After Namikaze Kirito murmured softly, he turned around and walked towards Marine. Just before everyone recovered from this scene, a pirate ship suddenly appeared on the sea. The flying flag is very familiar. Chapter 214, The Fruit of Face launches. Hey, you're lying. Why is another 4 emperors from New World appearing here? Red Force. Redhead. Here comes the redhead. The red mark on the skull and the 2 knives. Isn't this the flag of another 4 emperors, the red-haired Shanks? In addition, Red Hair Pirates is taking the elite route, and all cadres are on the same boat. There was no doubt that it was the red-haired Shanks himself. The Red Force slowly reached the shore, and the red-haired Shanks got off the boat with several partners. The red-haired Shanks was startled when he saw the tragic situation around him, especially the torn-apart Marineford. On his way, he was stopped by Kaido, also known as the 4 Emperors, or he stopped Kaido. If Kaido also comes to Marineford, things will definitely get worse, and the redhead who doesn't want to easily change the world pattern will certainly not let Kaido come here to make a fuss. The same is true in the original. Under the careful deployment of naval headquarters, it can definitely deal with 2 4 Emperors, but 3 4 Emperors is a bit difficult. After all, there are many strong people who have other things, so they didn't come to the Summit War. For example, those admiral candidates and the elite troops guarding all over the world. Everyone, I'm here to end this war. It should be said that it is red-haired. In the world of pirates, Luffy, the son of destiny, is the leader. Namikaze Kirito has unlocked the power of Dark Fruit and Shock Fruit since he killed Blackbeard just now, and now there are only Liwang above the mid-L level who have not recovered. But with Wood Style, the power of shock and the power of darkness, in this world, no one should be able to threaten him at present, except for the so-called World Order. Thinking of this, Namikaze Kirito directly generated a chair with Wood Style, and sat down leisurely to watch the excitement. Locke Dar and Boa Hancock came over. The former stood beside him, and the Empress came to Namikaze Kirito's back, stretching out 2 soft and boneless jade hands to rub his shoulders. While on the warship, Boa Hancock has learned the skill of massage. The men around looked at Namikaze Kirito enviously. He was powerful, handsome, and accompanied by the most beautiful woman in the world, Boa Hancock. This is simply the pinnacle of life, isn't it? Advertisement. On the other side, Luffy, the captain of the Straw Hat crew on the Sunny, also saw Shanks appear, and shouted excitedly. Shanks. Shanks. Seeing the familiar face, a smile appeared on Shanks' stern face. It's Luffy. This time it's not the right time. You haven't reached the level agreed with us, but you're fine. It's really great. Red Hair, the first team captain of the Whitebeard Pirates, Marco saw the red hair, with a bit of disappointment in his tone. Ah, isn't this Marco? Now that Whitebeard is dead, don't let this war go on. I know. Marco sighed helplessly. The last Captain Whitebeard's order was to retreat, and of course he would obey his father's order. Then the red-haired Shanks walked up to Sengoku and said softly, I wish Whitebeard's body could be handed over to me for safekeeping. As soon as this remark came out, the surrounding Marines frowned one by one. You know, their Marine is now disgraced, and they are clearly ready for war. As a result, Whitebeard died as he wished, but Firefist Ace was still alive, not to mention that the winner of this war seemed to be Marine. However, more than half of Yurui's troops died directly in the hands of Namikaze Kirito. Could this be a victory? If Whitebeard's body was also taken away at this time, Marine would really lose face. Marshal Sengoku, don't continue this war. If it continues, neither of you will benefit. 1. Hearing what the red-haired Shanks said, Sengoku was silent for a while, then raised his head after a while. If it's you, I can leave it to you. Marshal. The Marines on the side hurriedly spoke out to dissuade them. But Sengoku made up his mind and waved his hand. I will be responsible for this war and the subsequent responsibilities, Red Hair, and leave it to you. Thanks. Redhead Shanks nodded. Then he turned his gaze to Namikaze Kirito not far away. He knew that this was the protagonist today. Although he hadn't caught up with the live broadcast before, he also saw Namikaze Kirito fighting against the 5 marine powerhouses on the screen. Advertisement 0. Ask for flowers. Even the huge Buddha statue that covers the sky and the earth can be seen clearly. And in the last scene, Blackbeard also died at his hands. Redhead Shanks. You want to persuade me too? Seeing Shanks looking at him, Namikaze Kirito asked with interest. But unexpectedly, Shanks just shook his head and then went straight to Namikaze Kirito. Imagine the hair color of the two, one standing and the other sitting on a chair. There is a big difference between a serious face and a frivolous smile. Namikaze Kirito, you are a variable in this world. To be honest, I can't find out where you are a strong person, and I can't see your purpose. However, I hope you can give me face, so how about letting it go? 0 good guy, really good guy. You activated the face fruit ability when you came up, so what's the point of stopping? You've already shot at me. I saw Namikaze Kirito shaking his head. Who wants me to stop now? Those Marines, instead of protecting the justice in their hearts, want to protect those pigs of celestial dragons. It's time to teach them a lesson. Hearing Namikaze Kirito call celestial dragons pigs, red-haired Shanks was also slightly taken aback, but soon recovered. Namikaze Kirito, I know, it's useless to talk too much about people like you, and I'm not sure that I can defeat you, but I still hope you can think about it. After all, the existence of Marine has great impact on the people of the world. It is the most secure. Ha 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 ha. Shanks, I already knew you had a heart of a virgin, but today I saw it as expected. Namikaze Kirito laughed and continued. Why don't you be a pirate and be an adventurer? Why bother to hang the flag of a pirate? Shanks could ignore Namikaze Kirito's obvious sarcasm, but his partner was furious. Whizzing. Several figures flashed by, and the red-haired Shanks' companion stood directly behind him. Even in the face of this scene, Namikaze Kirito's face is still calm and breezy, without any change. What? All the red-haired Shanks, plus Marine, do you want to join forces to fight me, just like when we fought against the Rocks pirates before? Chapter 215 The End of the War. Common people don't know the name Rocks, but the red-haired Shanks and a group of older Marine powerhouses are of course familiar with the name. That is the overlord who once galloped on the sea. The 4 emperors, who are so powerful today, are nothing more than the crew of his ship. But Rocks is not satisfied with simple exploration. He has strong strength and bold personality, but his interest is to fight against the world. Marine pirates are civilians, in front of him, are just a group of lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Facing such a strong man, Marine's Garp teamed up with One Piece Roger to subdue him. That is also a fact that Marine is unwilling to admit. After all, it is not very glorious for Marine to team up with pirates. The red-haired Shanks of course knew the existence of this person, and his eyes couldn't help being in a trance. Indeed, Namikaze Kirito of 687 does have this qualification. After all, the 5 highest combat powers in Marine can't match him. How about it, Redhead, do you want to consider annihilating me with Marine? Namikaze Kirito looked at the redhead Shanks with interest, and he wanted to see what the other party's plan was. After all, he didn't finish watching the plot in his previous life. He only knew that when the red-haired Shanks went to the Holy Land, even the 5 elders had to give face. The identity of this person is a mystery, so this is also Namikaze Kirito's temptation. Wanted to take a stand on Shanks the redhead. Hearing this, the red-haired Shanks was taken aback for a moment, then smiled wryly. Mr. Kirito, I am here to prevent wars, not to provoke wars. Oh, are you sure, Redhead, today is the best opportunity?
While speaking, Namikaze Kirito stretched his waist, and said casually, now the strong Marines are here, and you red-hair pirates are all assembled, and you can even persuade the remnants of Whitebeard to attack me together.
Otherwise, after today, you will never have such a good opportunity again.
What Namikaze Kirito said is indeed the truth. After today, it is not easy to gather so many strong people. In addition, the strength in Namikaze Kirito's body has not yet fully recovered, and it is still common sense.
When the power returns to its peak, at that time, apart from the world order, no matter how many powerful people gather, they will not pose any threat to him.
Advertisement. Hearing this, the red-haired Shanks stared closely at the man in front of him, as if he was thinking about whether the other person was telling the truth, which seemed to be thinking about the feasibility of this matter. Not long after, the red-haired Shanks spoke seriously again. Mr. Kirito, I will not take the initiative to provoke a war, nor will I destroy the world structure. If one day you become a threat to the world, I will stand up again. Really? That's really a pity. A group of high-level Marines have been listening to the conversation between the two.
Sengoku's face is ugly, and Namikaze Kirito is the most dangerous criminal in the world today, and his viciousness and priority have even been raised to be higher than Monkey D. Dragon by 5 elders.
In this case, he would be lying if he said he didn't want to keep Namikaze Kirito here.
But he also saw the situation just now. First of all, Namikaze Kirito's ability to manipulate trees was already as strong as a monster.
Now I don't know how to get the power of dark fruit and shock fruit, who knows how terrifying he is now.
If you want to take action against him, this matter can only be discussed in the long run. Marineford was almost completely destroyed. If the fight continued like this, the remaining Marine members would probably die in the sea. This was an unbearable loss for Marine.
The appearance of the red-haired Shanks can be regarded as a lubricant, giving each of the several parties a step up, so as to preserve the final dignity.
The war is over. With Sengoku's sigh, the surrounding Marines looked in disbelief. This time they didn't cheer like in the original book.
Marine's goal has not been achieved at all. Fire Fist Ace is still staying on the pirate ship, although Whitebeard is dead, but their public execution has become a joke. Now that the top leader in Marine is directly bringing the war to an end, where is the justice? Why did the partners around me die? But apparently, Sengoku's mind has been made up.
Garp also felt relieved. This war was too heavy for him. Not only Ace, but even Luffy came here. If the war continues, who knows if they will be harmed.
It can be said that in the entire battlefield, his heart is the most complicated. On the one hand, he wants to uphold justice so that Marine can achieve victory, and on the other hand, he thinks about the safety of his grandson.
Advertisement. It can be said to be tangled to the extreme.
If there is a winner in this war, it must be Namikaze Kirito, who has not only gained fame and power, but also companions. At some point, Shiryu of the Rain came over and stood beside Namikaze Kirito. Facing this scene, K-Lock-Dar did not say anything. This is not his decision.
Kuzan, needless to say about this matter, I have already decided to resign as Marshal to take charge of this incident. I hope you will work hard. I plan to let you replace me.
Marshal Sengoku. At this moment, Aokiji walked up to Sengoku's side and spoke softly. Shut up. You have been spoiled by that B************ D Garp. Look at your lazy appearance now. Where does it look like a Marine general? The position of Marshal can allow you to exercise your sense of responsibility.
Regardless of the results or the reality of this war, their Marine lost 3.3 and lost completely. Facing the mess in Marineford, all Marines looked gloomy. Long time no see, mate. Shanks was very respectful when facing Rayleigh.
This is my own choice, and I am also very optimistic about Mr. Luffy. Your straw hat seems to be the right one.
Originally, Aokiji wanted to persuade Sengoku not to resign as the Marshal, but he didn't expect the matter to fall directly on his head, and then said with a wry smile.
Her character of hating men has not changed at all, only when she is facing Namikaze Kirito, she will become a love brain.
And Boa Hancock behind Namikaze Kirito is full of disgust. Ha ha ha, I'm not a vice captain anymore, I'm just a retired old man. Rayleigh laughed. With Sengoku declaring the war over, Rayleigh moved to the side of the red-haired Shanks.
After the two chatted about the old days, they both returned to their respective clothes, and Namikaze Kirito used the wood-style ability to directly build a medium-sized ship.
Luffy, thanks for your help. Marshal, I think you can work for another 2 years. I am really not suitable for the position of Marshal.
The four sat on it directly, planning to go to the Sabayati archipelago. After all, if you want to go to the Fishmen Island, you still have to go through the coating of the ship.
Chapter 216. Becoming the world's most ferocious criminal. The end of the Summit War did not relax the people who did not know the truth, but became even more frightened. Since the era of great pirates began, all pirates have swarmed the sea to make trouble, and the only hope of the people of Common is Marine. Now in the Summit War, the death of Whitebeard and Edward Newgate, known as the strongest man in the world, should have been a matter of cheering for the public. After all, this also means that Marine won, but anyone who has watched the live broadcast knows that things are not that simple. The sea ushered in a real great terror. Namikaze Kirito, the strongest man in the world and the most ferocious criminal in the world, these two titles are directly attached to him. The bounty is as high as 10 billion berries. Flag, former 7 warlords of the sea member, One Piece Boa Hancock, bounty, billion Bailey. Original members of 7 warlords of the sea, Sand Crocodile, K-Lock-Doll, bounty, 800 million Bailey. The former Impel Down Guard, Shiryu of the Rain, offered a bounty of 800 million Baileys. At present, Namikaze Kirito has not admitted that he is a pirate at all, and there is no pirate flag, so he is not a pirate. It's criminals. Currently, there are only 3 members under the banner, but these 3 people are also good players in O3 in New World. The leader, Namikaze Kirito, is against 3 admirals plus Marshal and Garp. This is simply the most shocking thing that has happened on the sea. Even the 4 emperors are no match for the combination of 2 admirals, and Namikaze Kirito directly fights 5? How does this make other people play? The bounty has become a joke, let alone 10 billion Baileys, even if it is 100 billion, who would dare to test it in front of him? One must know that tens of thousands of Marines were directly destroyed by one blow, and the blood that those Marines bleed out covered the ground to form a thick layer. Who thinks their own life is too long? It can be said that this Summit War, Whitebeard pirates and Marine are not victories, only Namikaze Kirito is the big winner. Everyone was still shocked that Blackbeard got Whitebeard's ability. Now it's all right, don't worry about Blackbeard, because a more terrifying person appeared. Dark Fruit, Shock Fruit, plus the previous ability to manipulate trees, Namikaze Kirito has demonstrated the ability of 3 devil fruits. Advertisement. Who knows if there is a 4th and 5th. Even the world government, 5 elders, have withdrawn plans for Namikaze Kirito one after another. There is no way, the one they most want to kill now is Namikaze Kirito. But after making several plans, they felt that it was not safe. Even if they could summon enough strong men to surround and kill Namikaze Kirito, who could guarantee that Namikaze Kirito would not escape? After escaping, won't people directly retaliate against the world government? It sure will. So although this matter is on the table, there is still no solution. As the person in charge of the incident, Marshal Sengoku intends to resign the position of Marshal Marine and be replaced by Hokage, but this proposal is also rejected by 5 elders. The reason is that Namikaze Kirito was a person who appeared when Sengoku was in office, and he can resign if he wants to, until Namikaze Kirito is resolved. So, different from the original book, Aokiji and Akainu did not fight for the Marshal, and of course Aokiji will not leave Marine either. Just one thing is the same as the original. In order to give the public a reassurance, and to give many Marines a belief, Naval Headquarters Marineford was smashed. Headquarters rebuilt in New World. 7 warlords of the sea because of this war, Pirate Empress, Haisha Jinbei betrayed, Gecko Moria disappeared, and Blackbeard died in battle. Today's Shichibukai has long been out of name. The 3rd largest force is like empty talk. In order to make up for this vacancy, the world government has already sent olive branches to many big pirates in New World. Because of the emergence of Namikaze Kirito, the world system has already broken down, and it must not go on like this. Because of Whitebeard's death, the position of 4 emperors became vacant. Obviously Namikaze Kirito was not a pirate, but he was still promoted to this position. Of course, Namikaze Kirito smiled disdainfully when he saw the newspaper. 4 emperors. Perhaps in the eyes of others, this is indeed a competition for fame and strength, but for him who has broadcast live all over the world, this name is dispensable, and even somewhat unworthy of him. But of course, you can't control what people call you. After the war, Namikaze Kirito has returned to the Sabaody archipelago. At this time, whether it is marine, pirate, or even common people, when they saw this red-haired man in black, they all chose to hide. Advertisement. Tell me, why do they not want to see me when I am so kind? Namikaze Kirito walked in front, Boa Hancock held his arm, and K-Lock Dar and Ranji Shiryu followed behind him. Yeah, honey, they're ignoring you, damn it. Then why don't I kill them with my own hands, Captain? A group of garbage. That old fellow Rayleigh, do you think we are companions? Namikaze Kirito didn't care when he saw that Lock Dahl didn't speak. After all, he hoped that the people around him could maintain their own character. The 2 drunks obviously saw the gloomy face of K-Lock Dahl, and they were sober in an instant. Who's such a B******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** and directly absorb the water in their bodies, isn't it too much? After the Summit War Live broadcast, most people in the world know Namikaze and the people around him. In comparison, I might be considered the most normal one. Locked Doll did not speak, silently smoking a cigar. Shiryu of the Rain has a murderous look in his eyes. In his opinion, Locked Dar is doing the right thing. Sure enough, his captain and partners are in line with his personality. While thinking about this problem with his head down, two drunk men 783 walked out of a restaurant. The two didn't look at the road, and they directly bumped into Locked Doll. A cloud of dust rose up, leaving only two mummified corpses on the spot, and this scene also made the people around them even more frightened. Your own captain even killed the most people in the Summit War. How can you think of the word, kindness, as impossible? Listening to what Boa Hancock and Renji Shiryu said, K-Lock was a little speechless. Look at what he said, he was always dying. Swish. That's right. Who? What's more, Kroll's previous reputation was not small. Namikaze Kirito spoke with a teasing smile. For example, in Orochimaru in the Hokage world, Namikaze Kirito never stopped him even if he did human experiments. Chapter 217 Robin's decision. The only reason Rayleigh is brought up is because as soon as he arrived in the Saboti archipelago, Rayleigh sent word that he was invited to Shaki's rip-off bar. Originally wanted to leave directly, but Namikaze Kirito wanted to see the Fishmen Island in Legendary. After all, they have all come to this pirate world, how can they not go to see the so-called man's dream island? If you want to go inside, you must coat the hull. There is also a shipbuilding factory on this island. Namikaze Kirito has used wood style to summon the hard tree trunk attached to chakra before. It is estimated that it will take a week to be used as a hull. After that, Rayleigh will be used to wear and coat it. In the sea, Namikaze Kirito can hold his breath, but his friends don't have this strength. Soon, the four were at Shaki's rip-off bar. Open the door, Straw Hat Crew was discussing something inside. Seeing the arrival of Namikaze Kirito, Rayleigh was full of joy. Kirito-kun, you are finally here, old man, what do I want from me? Namikaze Kirito sat down directly at the bar counter, picked up the wine handed over by Shaki, and began to taste it. As soon as Sanji saw the Empress, he petrified again, while Zoro looked at Shiryu of the Rain with fighting intent in his eyes. Little ghost, what's the matter? Do you want to draw your sword against me? Ah, I can feel the strength on your body, but at present I still have self-knowledge, I will not be your opponent. Having experienced Summit War, Straw Hat Crew has matured a lot, even Zoro can say such words. 100,000 Baileys, thank you for your patronage, Shaki said with a smile on his face as he watched Namikaze Kirito finish his drink. Just transfer the bill from the old man, and give me another drink. I said, Mr. Kirito, I owe a lot of debts, and you didn't give me the money for the coating this time, so how can I pay the bill? Rayleigh smiled wryly. Then I don't care, you invited me here, I'm here, don't you also prepare me a drink? Ha 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 ha, I really can't say enough about you, I invite you here this time, I want to ask you for a favor, Lou. Stop. Advertisement. Before Rayleigh finished speaking, he was interrupted by Namikaze Kirito. Our relationship is not that strong yet, what can I do for you? Listen to me first, Mr. Luffy and the others have realized their own shortcomings, and they plan to separate for 2 years during this period of time to practice on their own, and then go to New World, so I want to ask you to help with training. Can we help? I'm fine with that, but it's up to you. Saying that, Namikaze Kirito looked at Shiryu of the Rain and Zoro before him with great interest. Shiryu Yuji was originally the warden, but he was imprisoned because he always killed people indiscriminately. If such a person is allowed to train Zoro, there will be accidents, if not accidents. As a swordsman, Rayleigh can certainly feel the murderous aura on Shiryu of the Rain. Why? Sighing lightly, he originally planned to train with Luffy himself, but he felt that the members of the Straw Hats had their own personalities, and he might not be able to take care of them. Don't worry, if you can't train them, I can send them to a place where they can become stronger. Of course, I also need your promise in the future. This, Rayleigh knew that Namikaze Kirito's strength was so terrifying, what else could he do with this old man? It's definitely not an easy thing, but Sao is the person he is optimistic about, who can change the world, and he is caught in a dilemma for a while. Namikaze Kirito did not urge, but waited patiently. After a while, Rayleigh seemed to be mentally prepared, and said directly and resolutely, Okay, I promise you. Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito nodded in satisfaction, and then looked at Straw Hat Crew. Boys and girls, hurry up now and have fun on this island, and you will go where you should go soon gone.
Where should I go? Isn't it hell? Hey, are you really okay?
Idiot, of course it's okay, he is so strong, what else can he do to us? I have a disease that prevents me from leaving this island.
Get stronger. I want to become stronger now. The people of Straw Hat Crew have different personalities, and it is impossible to train together, so Namikaze Kirito intends to send them to various islands like the original book. Anyway, after watching the anime, I know where they should go, even if they don't know the way, isn't there an information dealer?
Advertisement. Then Straw Hat Crew went directly to Saboti Archipelago. Indeed, they haven't fully appreciated the beauty of this island yet. Coming here, in addition to rescuing the mermaid Kami, and then fighting against Marine Admiral until the Summit War. I have been stimulated a lot recently, now that I have time, of course I have to enjoy it. Is it really all right for you to kidnap Hancock?
Looking at the nympho-looking Boa Hancock, Rayleigh said strangely, now she has been removed from the 7 warlords of the sea. It is estimated that Marine will soon take action against the daughter country. What are you going to do? Solve it.
Darling, talk to another woman. Huh? Is this the cheating in Legendary? Looking at Namikaze Kirito, the hockey, Boa Hancock's eyes, are full of fascination. Oh, facing Nico Robin's sudden conversation, Namikaze Kirito was full of interest, but Boa Hancock next to him looked at Robin vigilantly. Nico Robin is a smart woman. Although the world government is afraid to provoke Namikaze Kirito now, Straw Hat Crew has caught their eyes. Rayleigh was speechless for a moment. If he dared to threaten Marine like this, there was probably only one Namikaze Kirito in the whole world, not to mention that he had such strength.
The 5 elders of the world government will never dare to touch the tiger's whiskers until they find a way to deal with Namikaze Kirito. If they dare to release Buster Call, I will directly sink the entire Holy Land into the sea.
Not surprisingly, seeing Namikaze Kirito's power to destroy the world government may also want to get ancient weapon. At this moment, the intellectual beauty, Nico Robin, came over. Honey. Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito became even more interested. During these 2 years, I want to practice on your boat.
This still needs your help. If you have a chance, you can go to Daughter Island. As soon as Marine's warship sails past, you tell them that they have hurt the people of Daughter Island. I will go to the Holy Land and kill a celestial dragon's pigs.
Otherwise, it would be forcing Namikaze Kirito to use means directly. Mr. Kirito. Especially Nico Robin, the Ohara survivor. Nico Robin. What can I do for you? Chapter 218 Respective Trajectories. On this sea now, except for my companions, only on your boat, I will not cause trouble to others. Although Nico Robin is a black-bellied intellectual beauty on weekdays. But in essence, she has the same character as her mother, that is, she is so kind that she doesn't want to cause trouble for others.
Just like in the original book, when World Government CP9 found the trace, the first thought was not to implicate the companions.
In the end, it was the hard work of all members of the Straw Hats that made Nico Robin speak his mind. Now that she is in the sight of the world again, no surprises, the world government will send someone to look for her soon, and the current world government has lost all face.
Urgently need to find countermeasures against Namikaze Kirito, ancient weapon, it is indeed a good breakthrough.
What's more, there are so many sharp-eyed pirates in the sea, don't underestimate these pirates, just like Doflamingo, the information dealer. Luffy's identity was exposed, and there must be troubles after that. Once Nico Robin's time as an Ohara survivor turns up on the black market, it's no surprise that the world will be in turmoil.
It is said that ancient weapon has the ability to destroy the world. 523. After seeing the Senju Buddha used by Namikaze Kirito, who would not want to have such a powerful mind?
Nico Robin can figure it out, and Namikaze Kirito certainly can too. Looking at the beauty in front of her with a trace of firm intellectual beauty in her beautiful eyes.
Namikaze Kirito said slowly, "Do you want me to protect you? That's not a problem, but you should understand that there is no free lunch in the world, right?" "I know." Nico Robin nodded. She already had this realization. "During the 2 years when I'm separated from my partner, I can do whatever you want me to do, including."
Having said that, Nico Robin took a deep breath, but continued to speak, including the news of ancient weapon. I have to say, this did surprise Namikaze Kirito a bit. This woman hated the world government deeply, but because of her kind nature, she never thought of finding the ancient weapon. Because her mother told her that once the wicked get the ancient weapon, it will lead to the destruction of the world.
So even though he was about to die when he followed K. Lakadar, he never thought of telling him about the ancient weapon. I didn't expect that it was just a chance to get on the boat, but I could get such a big promise from the other party. In fact, Namikaze Kirito didn't know. The reason why Nico Robin would say that was because ancient weapons were not so easy to find.
Advertisement. The second point is because Namikaze Kirito has shown the power to destroy the world in the Summit War. So is ancient weapons still a necessary thing for him? I agree. Just when Nico Robin was uneasy, Namikaze Kirito spoke 4 words.
Hearing that the other party agreed, Nico Robin heaved a sigh of relief, but Boa Hancock's face turned pale again, and the eyes he looked at Nico Robin became more murderous. This woman, actually told the man who was a concubine that she wants to come on board. And what? Can she agree to any conditions?
Several unsuitable images suddenly appeared in Boa Hancock's mind. Damn. Damn sneaky cat. It seemed that he felt Boa Hancock's gaze, and Nico Robin smiled at him, showing kindness. But in the eyes of Boa Hancock, this smile is naked provocation. Okay. This is all dancing in the face. Shameless woman. Concubine will not lose to you. Ignoring the inner activities of the 2 women, Namikaze Kirito's mind was reminiscing about the past life. Straw Hat Crew went to some island for 2 years. After a while, I carefully searched my memory, and then I remembered. Ms. Shaki, I will tell you a few islands, just send the members of the Straw Hat Crew there, Adolf. This time it's for Straw Hat Crew, I won't charge you. Needless to say, Luffy must have trained with Rayleigh, and Zoro went to Hawkeye's island. After all, there's no problem with the current #1 swordsman in the world teaching the future #1 swordsman in the world. Sanji went to ******* island to experience 2 years of nightmares, and let you peek at my woman whenever you have nothing to do. Usopp went to the Boing Islands, where it is said to be an island, but it is actually a giant piranha. His familiarity with plants was also learned at that time. Nami, as the navigator of Straw Hat Crew, needs to learn the ability of weather. And Chopper, Brooke, Frankie. Advertisement. It has to be said that the 2 years that Oda gave to the protagonist group was simply a waste of time. Everyone works out what they are good at. Such a protagonist group can quickly develop within 2 years, otherwise if they continue to take risks, relying on their strength 2 years ago, coupled with Luffy's troublesome personality. Going to New World is pure gifting. I told Shaki about every island, and I have to say, Shaki also looked at Namikaze Kirito in amazement. These islands, each fraught with danger, certainly give the Straw Hat Crew a quick workout. Now Shaki has a little faith in Namikaze Kirito's identity as a traveler, otherwise how would it be possible to understand the characteristics of each island? After recording the island, Namikaze Kirito walked out of the bar alone. He has to meet someone now. This person is also the first choice for his inner companion. Heavenly Yaksha, Don Quixote, Doflamingo. A tragic villain through and through, he is the most honorable celestial dragons in the pirate world, but because of the kindness of his parents, he directly broke away from the identity of the Dragon Quest. This also made those stupid people put all their grievances against celestial dragons on their family. Arguably, the mother's death was the point that transformed Doflamingo most immediately. Otherwise, maternal love can definitely melt away the darkness in Doflamingo's heart. It won't make him kill his father and brother in the end. It can be seen from his rare companions that Doflamingo is actually a person who is afraid of loneliness in his heart. Of course, killing one's father and one's brother is not justified, but that has nothing to do with Namikaze Kirito. He is not the virgin, so he can't control so much. As long as Doflamingo's character is bad enough, it is enough to be his partner. Before arriving at the auction house, Marine had already sealed the place, but no one was sent to guard it. 3 celestial dragons died here. Most people couldn't hide in time, who would dare to touch this brow. Prior to this, Namikaze Kirito had asked Shaki to notify Doflamingo in advance that he was going to meet him. They are also underground intelligence dealers. Shaki easily contacted Doflamingo, and the other party also agreed to meet. Chapter 219. The Nervous Empress entering the hall of the auction house. It still maintains the same traces as before. No one would be bothered to spoil the scene. After all, it was Namikaze Kirito who killed the 3 celestial dragons. Walking to the seat in front of the stage, there's a man wearing sunglasses and a flamingo cape. It is Doflamingo, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Seeing Namikaze Kirito go straight to sit next to him, Doflamingo's eyes under the dark glasses were amused. The new Sea Emperor, what can I do for you? Sea Emperor? I don't recognize this title, a bunch of boring people. Doflamingo could hear Namikaze Kirito's words coming from his heart. But he was also very surprised that the people in the sea were fighting hard for a name, and this mysterious man who suddenly appeared next to him seemed to have no interest in anything. Even the title of the emperor who is on the sea is abandoned like a shoe. This is so unusual. Doflamingo, how about joining me? Namikaze Kirito didn't talk nonsense and went straight to the point when he came up. Join you? Fur. Do you want me to be your little brother? If someone else said this sentence, Doflamingo would definitely have a blue vein and then fight the opponent directly. But facing Namikaze Kirito, he didn't have the courage, but Summit War saw how terrifying this smiling man was. It is estimated that even if the Kaido he is afraid of comes in front of this man, there is no hope of winning a one-on-one victory. Brother. No, I need you to be my companion. Namikaze Kirito waved his hand and continued. I know your identity, descendant of celestial dragons. You should hate those pigs now, right? As soon as the word celestial dragons came out, Doflamingo's face darkened immediately. That's right, he was once celestial dragons, but when he returned to the Holy Land with his father's head, no one welcomed him, but drove him out of the Holy Land directly. He can say he hates the celestial dragons right now. The reason for cooperating with Kaido is not just to be afraid of each other. What makes Doflamingo even more excited is that Kaido will form an army of capable people and launch a war to overturn the world. That way, there is a chance to bring those so-called celestial dragons down from the altar. Advertisement. It's just that he didn't expect this strong man who suddenly appeared on the sea to know his past. For a moment, Doflamingo fell into silence. Seeing that the other party didn't speak, Namikaze Kirito didn't care. Instead, he said to himself, World government, Marine, these two peaks stand in the way. Do you think Kaido can really subvert the world? No one knows better than you how much those guys cherish their lives. Kaido can't shake the sky. Fur, Kaido can't overturn the world, can you? Didn't I already start? When he said this, there seemed to be a gleam of blood red in Namikaze Kirito's eyes. Hearing this, Doflamingo was taken aback. He's right, the world has indeed begun to overturn. Starting from killing those 3 celestial dragons, it seems that the whole world is constantly revolving around Namikaze Kirito. I will not be anyone's subordinate, because I am the real king. When he said this, Doflamingo had a strong momentum. Conqueror's Haki. As someone who has awakened conquerors since childhood, he certainly has the right to say that. But even if conquerors is awakened, he only has the aptitude of a king, which is the threshold to become a king. If you want to become a king, you still need to rely on absolute strength. Boom. Facing the Conqueror's Haki released by Doflamingo, Namikaze Kirito smiled slightly, and the same Conqueror's Haki also emerged from his body. And directly caused physical damage to the entire auction house, and directly issued a deafening roar. The Conquerors from Doflamingo was directly defeated by Namikaze Kirito's Conqueror's Haki. The whole person slumped on the chair. Although I knew that the people next to me were monsters, I didn't expect that even Conqueror's Haki was so strong. Let's cooperate. Hearing these 3 words from Doflamingo, Namikaze Kirito also took back the Conqueror's Haki that suppressed the audience. Cooperation. It seems that you don't have the qualifications now. I will stay here for a week. During this time, I hope you will think carefully. After a week, if you don't leave with me, I will regard you as giving up this proposal. Advertisement. After all, Namikaze Kirito ignored the gloomy Doflamingo and left the auction house directly. 0. Asking for flowers. I'm not eligible. Inside a gorgeous hotel in the Sabodi archipelago, where Shaki arranged for Namikaze Kirito to live. No way. Shaki's rip-off bar. The place is too small to accommodate so many people staying overnight. The boat that is ready to sail is not ready yet, so I can only borrow it from the hotel here. As soon as he returned to his room, Namikaze Kirito saw a very seductive figure in the middle on the big soft bed. As the most beautiful woman in the world, the pirate empress is impeccable both in figure and appearance. At this time, she was lying sideways on the bed, wearing a purple cheongsam that showed her proud figure to the fullest, exposing a pair of slender white and tender thighs. 0 with waterfall-like hair and a pair of round and beautiful feet, it can be said that the advantages of women let her play to the fullest. Boa Hancock's heart was beating fast. She felt a sense of crisis from Nico Robin before, but she is a novice in love and doesn't know how to solve it, so she can only ask Shaki for help. As a former great pirate, Shaki did not give any experience in love. Instead, let Boa Hancock lie on the bed and wait for Namikaze Kirito. This trick really worked. Even if the pirate queen became his own woman, the moment he opened the door, Namikaze Kirito's mind also experienced a brief stagnation. It's every man's dream. Oda knows how to be a man. Husband, do you like this concubine? Because of excessive nervousness, Boa Hancock stuttered a little while speaking. She has 0 experience with men and women, so Shaki gave her advice, and she did it directly. It was okay to be alone in the room before. Who would have thought that the moment Namikaze Kirito came in, her breathing almost stopped, and a heart rose to her throat. Namikaze Kirito didn't speak, and went directly to the edge of the bed and sat down, stretched out his hand and grabbed the jade feet wrinkled together due to nervousness. Soft and smooth in the hands. Surely that woman from Shaki gave you the attention? Don't you like it? Boa Hancock asked cautiously. Chapter 220. The shyness of the pirate empress. How could I not like it? Namikaze Kirito squeezed the white and tender jade feet in his hand, and Boa Hancock let out an "ah" sound. She has always hated men, let alone contact with men, feeling the breath of Namikaze Kirito in front of her. Boa Hancock felt like his whole body was going to burn. You like it as long as you like it. Facing the shyness of the person beside him, Namikaze Kirito didn't say anything, but directly lay down on the bed, directly beside the other person. Then slowly stretched out his arm, and Boa Hancock also blushed directly on the pillow. Carefully looking at Namikaze Kirito's handsome face, unconsciously she was a little crazy, and subconsciously stretched out those slender fingers to caress her husband's cheek. As a result, Namikaze Kirito suddenly turned his head, and the fiery eyes, 270, made Boa Hancock stop immediately. Husband. Originally Boa Hancock wanted to say something, but suddenly, those rosy and soft lips were blocked. She didn't know where to put her hands, and she was flustered for a while, but soon she was immersed in it, and began to respond clumsily. A pair of jade hands were also placed on Namikaze Kirito's broad and strong back. May I, please be gentle. Purple's Cheongsam and gray windbreaker slowly fell off the ground. At this time, the breeze blows outside the window, and under the night light, the bright lights in the house are also extinguished. The next morning, Namikaze Kirito brought K-Lock and Shiryu to the Shaki bar. Today is also the day when the members of the Straw Hats should leave. Nico Robin was looking tenderly at her companions around her. She didn't tell Straw Hat Crew that she would follow Namikaze Kirito for 2 years. If you say it, if you go to the bottom of it, I am afraid that the partners will not be able to train because they are worried about her current situation. In that case, how can they Straw Hat Crew continue to sail in the future, so whether it is for themselves or for their companions? Nico Robin chose to remain silent. Advertisement Shaki was smoking a cigarette at this time. When he saw Namikaze Kirito coming in, his eyes lit up. She gave Boa Hancock a lot of advice yesterday. This kid still has to thank me, give me hundreds of millions of Baileys or something. After watching for a long time, only Namikaze Kirito walked in with 2 companions, but there was no sign of Boa Hancock. As a mature woman, Shaki certainly knew what happened, so she looked at Namikaze Kirito full of ambiguity. Hey kid, why didn't Snake Girl come over today? You really are. Hearing this, even Namikaze Kirito couldn't help touching his nose at this time, looking a bit embarrassed. The charming scene from last night also sounded in my mind, as if I broke the agreement with Tsunade and others in the Hokage world. At that time, if I bring Boa Hancock back to that world, I don't know what will happen. After all, the Pirate Empress and Tsunade Haim are an empress, a princess of the Senju clan, let alone the first woman of Namikaze Kirito. Just like when Tsunade first found out about Terumi Mei's existence, didn't the two have a conflict? But it would be impossible for Namikaze Kirito to give up Boa Hancock. The current Pirate Empress has completely become his own, so how could he give up? Ha 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 ha, you are so young Tilda. Shaki snickered when he saw Namikaze Kirito's expression, and relieved the worry in his heart by the way. Originally, Namikaze Kirito of Summit War seemed playful and unrestrained, and it could even be said that he did not show much emotion and acted on his own mind. But most of such people seem to be particularly indifferent to the affairs of men and women. I was still worried that Boa Hancock would be very sad in the future, but seeing Namikaze Kirito's picture just now, although he was slightly embarrassed, his eyes were full of love. Shaki knew that Boa Hancock was the right choice. A man who has the strength to fight against the world and has delicate emotions, what else can he ask for? Straw Hat Crew was full of doubts, looking at Shaki and Namikaze Kirito. I don't know what charades they're playing. Only the slightly mature Nico Robin can roughly guess what happened. But her body is also a young girl, and she has no experience in love, just as her unsuitable thoughts appeared in her mind. A blush flashed across her pretty face. He also looked away from Namikaze Kirito. Advertisement just when everyone was wondering. Fuli opened the door and walked in. Mr. Luffy, and everyone, I have already contacted the ship. You should have had enough fun in the past 2 days. In the next 2 years, we will not see each other again. Let's say goodbye to each other. Hearing this, the Straw Hat Crew looked at each other with reluctance in their eyes. The companion who has been with me for so long has gone through countless adventures to come to this day, and I did not expect to be separated for 2 years. Gone. Zoro was the first to emerge from this parting emotion, heading straight for the gate. Hey, you road idiot, and you want to be the first to leave? Are you kidding me? Ah. Hearing that familiar voice, Zoro turned back with a gloomy face. Who are you talking about, lustful chef? I'm talking about you, Chlorella Head. Looks like you wanted to be beaten up by me before you left? It's exactly what I want. I want to see if I can wake up that road-crazy look of yours. The noise of the two directly disrupted everyone's parting thoughts, and the Straw Hat Crew started making noise again. What an interesting bunch of guys. Namikaze Kirito was leaning on the bar, looking at Straw Hat Crew with a smile on his lips. To be honest, he doesn't dislike Straw Hat Crew. No matter how much trouble Luffy makes, the word friendship can be said to give Straw Hat Crew a lot of points in the hearts of 2.8 Namikaze Lasters. Otherwise, with his freewheeling personality, he would have blown away a group of people long ago. How could it be possible to save Luffy once during the Summit War? Soon, under Rayleigh's arrangement, Straw Hat Crew followed Rayleigh to the pier. Boats to various islands have been arranged in advance. It has to be said that in the original book, Straw Hat Crew was able to have such a strong strength in just 2 years, thanks to the Tyrant Bear who broke into the marine. For another 2 years, Tyrant Shang was also guarding the Sunny alone, which was an agreement he had reached with the world government. After letting the Straw Hat Crew practice for 2 years, the Sunny who stayed on this island was able to survive. With such a strong strength, it became scarred, which shows what kind of battle it has gone through. Chapter 221 First heard of the Golden City. Captain, please give me your advice for the next 2 years. After his partner left, Nico Robin came directly to Namikaze Kirito and said with a smile. After seeing Namikaze Kirito nodding, Nico Robin finally let go of her hanging heart. She found that there are many more people in Sabaody Archipelago recently, and they are all looking at her intentionally or unintentionally. Thinking of the Cipher Pole, CP organization of the world government, Nico Robin felt a little chill in his heart. It seems that the world government has also attracted the attention of Ancient Weapon, as she expected. However, if you can stay with Namikaze Kirito, there should be no problem for the time being, because Namikaze Kirito is on this island, so you can go shopping or eat at restaurants. Those who looked like spy organizations hid one by one like a mouse seeing a cat. An astonishing news came out, that is, the Holy Land has issued an order that when Namikaze Kirito is in Sabaody Archipelago, all celestial dragons cannot come here. This news can be described as terrifying. You know, with celestial dragons upturned nostrils, since when did they accommodate others, but when it came to Namikaze Kirito, all of them got their tails up. Even their favorite, the Sabaody Archipelago, really hasn't been there recently. Captain, are we heading to New World? I can't wait. Shiryu of the Rain wiped his blade aside and said in a deep voice. Indeed, the whole world has seen the summit war scene. Whether it is marine or pirates, the last thing they want to mess with is Namikaze Kirito and his gang. Shiryu was on this island, not to mention killing people. People around him run away when they see him from a distance. No one can't think of taking the initiative to find trouble. Our new ship should be almost ready, but the coating will take a while. Before that, we have to rest on this island for a while. After hearing what Namikaze Kirito said, Shiryu and Locke didn't say anything, and Nico Robin certainly wouldn't comment. But Rayleigh on the side said, Kirito-kun, since you have nothing else to do, why don't you go out with me? Rayleigh, who came back, happened to hear what Namikaze Kirito said, and spoke directly. Advertisement: he had already sent everyone to the boat just now, and Luffy was also taken by keeping to the island full of beasts near the daughter country. If you want to train Haki and strength, you can't succeed in a day or two. Before that, you need to exercise your body. Jinbei, who has Murloc karate skills, happens to be Luffy's best partner. What are you paying attention to, old man? Hearing Namikaze Kirito's teasing words, Rayleigh scratched his head. Do I look that sneaky? The place I introduced to you is really a good place to relax? Oh, seeing Namikaze Kirito's interest, Rayleigh quickly said, it's definitely a good place. That place is the largest entertainment city on the sea, Yulan Tezzolo. Hearing the name, Namikaze Kirito's eyes lit up. Golden City. This is a story in the theatrical version of One Piece in the previous life. It is said that Gilder Tetzolo, a man who owns 20% of the world's Baileys, created an entertainment city where there is cooperation from the world government, so marines and pirates are not allowed to fight. It's also a completely neutral honesty. As long as you have money, you can enjoy the ecstasy in it, the entertainment programs are colorful, and the casino is a must. The reason why he is interested in it is not because Namikaze Kirito wants to gamble, but because there is his favorite devil fruit there. Lucky fruit. The word luck is not simple. To some extent, this means that the continuation of the world order is equivalent to Tao. What is the most important thing in Shushin novels? Family background, talent, and physique are all unimportant. The most important thing is luck. Your luck is great enough, even a mortal can become a fairy. It can be seen how powerful the fruit ability of luck is. Now that Dark Fruit's ability has been recovered, if it is found that the lucky fruit really contains powerful world power and absorbs it directly, wouldn't it be able to speed up the progress of the world's strategy? Although his heart is hot, Namikaze Kirito's expression is still that indifferent. Why don't you go by yourself? Why did you call me? Advertisement: go alone. Hearing what Namikaze Kirito said, Rayleigh had a wry smile on his face. Because I wanted to support Mr. Luffy, my head got hot, and I didn't want to enjoy my retirement life, so I went directly to the whirlpool of summit war. Now I have become a thorn in the eyes of the world government. If I leave alone, I will definitely be surrounded by marine before I reach that city. Hearing this, Rayleigh had a look of joy on his face. Kirito-kun, are you agreeing to me? But it is indeed calm now, that is to say, the world government is brewing a bigger conspiracy. In the world of pirates, wealth never belongs to anyone but to the strong. Aren't you just a gambling addict? It just so happens that it will take some time before my boat is built. Finding a place to play is also a good choice. After all, behind the 5 elders is the mysterious Lord I Am. If they say they are convinced to themselves, they will not believe it even if they kill Namikaze Kirito. Seeing Rayleigh's wry smile, Nico Robin beside him couldn't help covering his mouth and chuckling. Thinking of this, seeing the request on Rayleigh's face, Namikaze Kirito couldn't help laughing. Rayleigh isn't afraid of being hunted. He's spent the first half of his life outwitting marine, and it's a joke that scares him. With the beating nature of the world government, it is absolutely impossible to let Namikaze Kirito, a big threat, wander wantonly in the sea. Of course Namikaze Kirito also saw what Rayleigh meant, but they guessed wrong on one point. Like Nico Robin, his idea is to use the identity of Namikaze Kirito to make Marine afraid, so that he can enjoy retirement happily. After getting the affirmation, Rayleigh almost jumped up in place. By that time, I am afraid that everyone related to me will be liquidated, right? If stronger pirates appear, no matter how much treasure you have saved, you will definitely lose it. As for his gambling funds, there is no need to worry at all. You can just get them from Shaki, or if you encounter a few unlucky pirates at any time on the road, just don't grab them. The well-known Pluton Rayleigh, also 250 a day, will be troubled by being too famous. Otherwise, as soon as they settle down in one place, Marine will catch up with them. It's not fun to run around at such an age. Chapter 222 Gilder Tetsolo. Yulin Tetsolo. It is a 10,000-meter-long, 10-kilometer, giant ship covered in gold, with towns and cities on it. It is the world's largest entertainment city, an independent country and a demilitarized zone recognized by the government. The absolute sanctuary that the world government cannot casually sell. The founder of this gigantic ship was Guld Tetsolo, known as the Golden Emperor. The name of the giant ship is also taken from his surname. He was the king of Yulin Tetsolo, a first-class entertainer. The ability user of the golden fruit is the king of the casino who reigns in the casino. The world's leading business genius has grown from nothing in just 12 years, from a penniless slave to the world's richest man, dominating 20% of the world's profits. There are even powers that can use the world government. Once said, a guy without money will accomplish nothing, only be dominated. Even such a man has a tragic past. I liked to sing since I was a child. I was born in a very poor family. Because I was poor, I was excluded by my friends. I longed for the entertainment performances I saw from outside the venue. My father was a gambler and died of illness one day. Later, the family became poorer, and the mother hated Tetsolo's singing, so she went away and stole money because of it. One friend. One day he was defeated in a casino and was caught and sold by human traffickers. The guys he thought were his friends ran away immediately. Tetsolo was beaten badly and tried to escape. Tetsolo, who escaped, met a woman named Stella in the human trafficking market. She thought his singing voice was great, and they chatted very well. Tetsolo decided to let Stella get free and never do bad things again. Tetsolo, who worked day and night without sleep and food, needed money to save her money. Just when the money to buy Stella was about to be collected, celestial dragons just appeared and bought Stella with ease. An angry Tetsolo got angry at the celestial dragons, but was caught, and Stella told Tetsolo that she felt happy from the bottom of her heart because of Tetsolo's existence. Because the celestial dragons are rich, they can buy everything. Tetsolo became a big criminal and was captured as a slave to the celestial dragons. He couldn't even laugh without permission. Also in the Holy Land Marijoy. Hearing the news of Stella's death one day, Tetsolo was very sad. He felt that if he could have money, he would not be like this, and became more attached to money. Fisher Tiger made the slave emancipation event in the Holy Land. Tetsolo escaped from the Holy Land. He hated the nobles and rich people. Advertisement: the Don Quixote family held an auction of golden fruit, and, real, Tetsolo brought people there to make a big incident and got the fruit. Doflamingo just wanted to use this fruit to attract customers, but he didn't really want to sell it, to go. Tetsolo and Doflamingo, who are gradually becoming famous, finally know the culprit of the incident 3 years ago, but the fruit has already been eaten. Tetsolo, who was targeted by the Don Quixote family, has already gained considerable combat effectiveness. The two sides put aside their past hatred and became business partners. With a stable development business and substantial subordinates, the giant ship Yulin and Tetsolo were built. The hated power of gold has become one's own strength. When facing rich people, one should become an even richer person and make them succumb to one's own feet. One day, let the celestial dragons also kneel before this power. For Tetsolo, the best show is the look of despair on the faces of the guests when they lose money in the casino. I am the one who wants to be the god of this world. There are things that money can't buy, and people without money can't do anything. Originally, it was getting stronger and stronger, but unfortunately, at the peak time, it met Straw Hat Crew. Cooperate with his men to set a trap, making Straw Hat Crew owe him a huge amount of money, and use the ability of the golden fruit to imprison Zoro, and ask Luffy to pay back the money within one day. Straw Hat Crew then launched an operation, and was teased by Nami and others. They changed the pipeline and made the sea water spray out and washed away the gold powder used to control people. They were furious and called the Cadres to start a decisive battle with Straw Hat Crew. At the beginning, it suppressed Luffy for a while, and when it became a Titan, it even made Luffy's second and third moves invalid, and cruelly tried to kill Kurina and Nami. Finally Luffy used fourth move to defeat them. In the end, he was arrested by CPO chief Rob Lucci. Pele, who owns 20% of the world, must be a thorn in the side of the world government, no matter how good the cooperation was before and how much protection fee was paid. He could not escape the fate of being abandoned and all property confiscated. This person can also be said to be Namikaze Kirito's candidate as a partner. After all, Gilder Tetsolo's only obsession is the woman Stella. And isn't Namikaze Kirito best at manipulating life and death? Thinking of this, a smile appeared on Namikaze Kirito's face. Seeing the handsome young man in front of him smiling like this, Shaki felt a chill in his heart for some reason. Advertisement: but when everyone was silent, footsteps suddenly sounded outside the door. Except for Nico Robin, all the people in the house are strong. Of course, observation hockey can know the identity of the person in advance. Don Quixote Doflamingo from Seven Warlords of the Sea? Asterisk, what is he doing here? Shaki is an intelligence dealer who often deals with the underground world. The name Heavenly Yaksha is well known. The Don Quixote family is one of the most powerful families in the underground world. But other than intelligence, the two didn't have much contact with each other, and they had never met in the earthly world. If there is anything here that can attract the other party, don't think about it. Shaki looked at the man in front of him who gave him a chill. Is it really you, Namikaze Kirito? What is your purpose? Fufurfur. I've never been on this island before. I didn't expect there to be such a bar here. By Leela? Doflamingo, in a flamingo coat, walked in with unrecognizable steps. Do. Before he could continue speaking, a bloody sword flashed across, and a murderous sharp blade was placed on his neck. He. Doflamingo, are you here to feed me the knife? Shiryu of the Rain is going to be a free bird these days. Facing the appearance of Doflamingo, he couldn't help but rush forward by himself. Fooferfer. The former head of Impel down, Shiryu of the Rain. But can you put down the knife first? I don't like people pointing at me like that. A gleam of light flashed across Doflamingo's sunglasses, and he raised his hands slowly. Shout out. With a random swipe of his hands in the air, countless transparent silk threads instantly appeared all over Shiryu's body. The sharp silk thread is extremely obvious under the sunlight. Chapter 223 Doflamingo joins the occupation. Oh, 2, please don't ruin this little shop of mine. Seeing that Namikaze Kirito had no intention of stopping him, and was even watching the excitement, Rayleigh quickly stood up and spoke out. If they don't talk anymore and let the two fight, this small shop will be gone. It's no wonder that Shaki isn't crazy by then, and the plan to go to Gulen Tezzolo is probably forced to be cancelled. Pluton Rayleigh, is it true? I have always heard that you were hiding on this island, but I didn't expect you to be in a small bar. You really know how to hide. Doflamingo looked at Rayleigh, then at Namikaze Kirito directly in front of him, and continued speaking. Namikaze Kirito. No, should I call the captain? I wonder if you can let me in first? Compared with Shiryu of the Rain, who is devoted to bloodthirsty, Doflamingo is obviously much calmer, not to mention that he is not here today to fight. Hearing Doflamingo's address, Shiryu of the Rain was slightly taken aback, and then sheathed the sharp blade in his hand again. He secretly sighed, he probably won't be able to fight again, and he doesn't know when he will be able to kill happily. Shiryu, don't worry, you will get what you want soon. 287. As if seeing what Shiryu of the Rain was thinking, Namikaze Kirito said softly. The world government obviously doesn't have much patience, and it will be a matter of time before they do something to themselves and others. Namikaze Kirito was going to deal with the backhand of the world government and the so-called Master I Am. At that time, some miscellaneous soldiers and those strong men in the marine would probably have to be handed over to his partners. If you want to quickly improve your combat power, it is not too easy for Namikaze Kirito who owns Dark Fruit. Hearing his captain's words, Shiryu Yuji nodded, and directly returned to his seat with a knife. Doflamingo also walked directly into the bar and sat next to Namikaze Kirito. What? Think about it. Namikaze Kirito looked at Doflamingo with interest. Ah. I found that we have the same idea, that is. When he said this, Doflamingo seemed to have thought of something, the veins on his forehead popped up, and his face was full of ferociousness. That's why they also looked down on those pigs. The word pig is of course referring to the so-called nobles of the world, celestial dragons. The humiliation he suffered since he was a child made Dover. A day, Langming wished to destroy the Holy Land directly, but with his ability, even if it takes another 20 years, he will not be able to do it at all. He's been thinking about it since Namikaze Kirito met him 2 years ago. Logically speaking, his character would never be anyone's subordinate, but Namikaze gave a condition that cannot be ignored. Advertisement that is to completely destroy the Holy Land. Make those celestial dragons high above all prostrate on the ground. So, what's your choice? Fooferfer, please take care of me, Captain. Doflamingo almost gritted his teeth with a smile and said this sentence. On his face, one can see the tangled and contradictory expression, but the words he uttered are indeed extremely firm. Namikaze Kirito also smiled back. Looking at the few people in the bar, Rayleigh's expression unknowingly became serious. He found that the companions chosen by Namikaze Kirito were not simple people. What kind of changes will such a person bring to the world, Kirito-kun? In order to take care of Boa Hancock, Namikaze Kirito took everyone to rest for another day at Sabodi Archipelago. In the early morning of the next day, Doflamingo had already prepared the boat. He has a cooperative relationship with the famous Golden Emperor. After all, Tezzolo's fruit was also taken from Doflamingo. If you want to go there, you don't need to go through the Fishman Island, just sail directly on the sea for a few days. Doflamingo is rich and powerful, and the boat he prepared is of course extremely luxurious. Namikaze Kirito was enjoying himself in the bedroom these days. Since that day, Boa Hancock has become even more attached to him. No matter where he goes, he always stares at him with those beautiful eyes full of love. Nico Robin's bedroom is next door to the two, and in the past 2 days, at night, his ears will be tortured. But think about it, this is the price of relying on others, and she can be relieved. Compared with this, once she goes to sea alone, she may face countless troubles. After several days of sailing, in this sea, the largest entertainment city has finally arrived. Because Gulen Tezzolo is a city on the giant ship, there is no need to dock, and the ship can directly enter the interior of the giant ship. Just after entering it, the sky slowly rained gold powder. Advertisement Namikaze Kirito, who was familiar with the plot, of course understood what was going on, but he didn't care, it was just some small tricks. Boa Hancock and Nico Robin couldn't help being a little addicted to seeing the splendor everywhere. Women still like to appreciate beautiful affairs, no matter how much darkness is hidden under this beauty, it does not hinder their appreciation. Soon, the boat stopped in the exclusive docking harbor. Knowing the news that Doflamingo was coming early, the Golden Emperor also showed the greatest sincerity and sent his own cadres. The goddess of luck, Bar Carla, came to welcome her. She has long orange-red hair, matched with a noble black dress, and has sexy and healthy wheat-colored skin. Regardless of etiquette or appearance, it will bring people a very good impression. Welcome, 4 emperors, Lord Namikaze Kirito, and Lord Doflamingo, and... He read the names of all the people present and greeted them respectfully. It has to be said that Barbara Carla was able to be the right-hand man of the Golden Emperor not only because of her fruit ability, but also because of her clever mind. Keep the information of these people on board in your heart, and you will be able to recognize each other just by seeing them. Not only that, seeing Namikaze Kirito walking in the front and Doflamingo following behind, he immediately understood that Namikaze Kirito was the leader. When he read his name, he was also photographed first. A bright mind is a Madara. At this time, the pirates and marines on the shore also noticed the change here, and they were all shocked when they looked up. 4 emperors Namikaze Kirito, and 7 warlords of the sea, Doflamingo? Even, Pluto and Rayleigh. What a strange combination. Hey, are you lying? Why did the 4 emperors appear here? That's right, the old guy Rayleigh also had the cheek to come along with him. For an old gambler, what could be more tempting than the biggest entertainment city? Even Shaki brought a lot of Baileys to sell information, but it was a very profitable business. Shaki's rip-off bar has been open for so long, and of course the money earned is countless. It can be said that she is a typical little rich woman. Chapter 224 Big Brother, let's buy a flower, what a nice place. Looking at the magnificence around him, K-Lock couldn't help sighing a little. In contrast, even if he was able to successfully occupy Alabasta before, it is estimated that it will not develop to this extent. Being a big pirate doesn't mean you can be a successful businessman. Ba Carla asked his subordinates to send a special turtle car here, and everyone rode on it. Nico Robin couldn't help but be amazed by the strange power of the tortoise. Looking at the tortoise working hard, he even thought this creature was very cute. A blush appeared on the face full of mature charm. This is her, who always has some weird hobbies. Ba Carla was driving the car while explaining the various facilities inside the Golden City to everyone. The tour guide was very competent. I have to say that none of Namikaze Kirito's group was simple, but even so, they can't help but be attracted by this Golden City, let alone others. Boss asked me to take you to the entertainment area first, where you will definitely enjoy the world's top. Looking at the shining lights around and feeling the breeze coming out of the car, I have to say that the Golden City is full in terms of enjoyment. Soon, under the driving skills of Ba Carla, everyone came to the largest building in the Golden City. It is not without reason that this place is called the top entertainment area. The entire building is made of pure gold, reaching the height of the sky, and it can show its luxury and high end in every aspect. Because of Doflamingo's advance notice and the arrival of a big man like Namikaze Kirito, there are already 2 rows of beauties standing at the door to welcome guests. As soon as they saw everyone, they immediately gave out a pleasant welcome. Welcome, Furofurfur. Tezzolo, this guy is really good at showing off tilde. Doflamingo looked at everything around him and couldn't help laughing in satisfaction. After all, he had notified Tezzolo that Namikaze Kirito was coming. If there was no such pomp, wouldn't it be disappointing to his own captain? Fortunately, Tezzolo knew. Everyone, this is the only 8-star hotel that we are proud of, and it is also an amusement park, the King of Gold Hotel. When Barbara Carla introduced her, her tone was full of pride. In this sea, this is a unique family. Only her master can do this. While everyone was still appreciating, a group of children suddenly ran up not far away. Advertisement. Buy a flower, please. Huh? Hey, what are you kidding? Before Namikaze Kirito could speak, Doflamingo's expression turned gloomy. Others don't know what's going on. How could Doflamingo as a partner not know what's going on? I'm so sorry, my lords. Seeing Doflamingo's face, Carla immediately apologized, and then walked in front of the children, with a hint of danger in her beautiful eyes. This is not where you should come, is it? Go home. Well. One of the little girls bit her lips tightly, her big eyes were full of fear, and her hand holding the rose couldn't help trembling. Just when Ba Carla was about to say something, Namikaze Kirito suddenly spoke. Then he walked slowly to the little girl and squatted down, with a soft smile on his face. The flowers are really nice, how much? 5,000 Baileys. Seemingly frightened, the little girl looked at the gentle big brother in front of her and said tremblingly. I want it all, thank you. While talking, Namikaze Kirito put his hands on the little girl's head and rubbed it gently. Thank you, big brother. The little girl has not been treated so tenderly for a long time, her big eyes are full of tears. What a cute little guy tilde. Namikaze Kirito reached out to take the rose, and with a swipe of his finger, Koizumi Hirosaka started. He took out several stacks of Baileys and handed them directly to the little girl. Seeing this scene, Nico Robin felt a little warmth in his heart. She was wanted by Marine when she was 8 years old, and she has seen too much darkness. In that environment, a little girl survived alone. Advertisement. It is conceivable how much suffering she has experienced, and she naturally brought herself into the role of a little girl. Seeing the tender side of Namikaze Kirito now, I can't help but feel a little touched in my heart. As a result, with the money in Namikaze Kirito's hands, the little girl bounced away with her companions. They knew that they were one step closer to freedom. 0. Asking for flowers. Namikaze Kirito watched the children leave with a smile on his face, and then put the bouquet of roses directly into the hands of Boa Hancock and Nico Robin. The former looked at him full of fascination, and the latter's beautiful eyes also had a hint of inexplicable color. Kase Kirito-sama, those children, needless to say. Ba Carla just wanted to explain, but was interrupted by Namikaze Kirito waving. If possible, let them live freely. Hearing this sentence, Carla said yes respectfully, because she was also very strange in her heart. Logically, as the person who killed the most in Summit War, 4 Emperors, Namikaze Kirito would have such kindness. After all, his partners are more cruel than each other. Needless to say, Doflamingo is the partner of his own boss, and the two of them understand each other very well. Shiryu of the Rain, a pure murderer, Clock Dar is also one of the original Shichibukai, and even has the act of stealing the country, treating countless people in Alabasta as tools. Nico Robin of Straw Hat Crew is known as the son of the devil, and he has been in the Kingdom of Darkness since he was a child. The only one who is slightly normal is Boa Hancock, the Queen of Pirates, but she also ruthlessly plunders the sea. Daughter Island or Nine Snake Island itself is a pirate country. With such a group of partners, it can be seen that the captain is terrifying. But such a person would actually make such a move? Barbara Carla was a little overwhelmed for a while, but she still had that respectful look on the surface. Sorry, I made all the adults laugh. It was just a small episode just now. Now let's entertain everyone with all our strength. Saying that, Ba Carla took the lead to lead the way and walked into the so-called King of Gold Hotel. As soon as you enter the hotel, the gorgeous lobby is displayed in front of everyone. All kinds of slot machines and gaming tables are made of gold. It is conceivable how much Tezzolo likes gold. Every tourist is wearing gorgeous clothes, talking and laughing and playing various rides. I have to say that Tezzolo is really good at it. He understands the desires of people, and every detail makes you feel that you are in the most high-end venue in the world. Chapter 225 Barbara Carla is seduced? Only such a person can achieve such an achievement in just a few decades. Those who dared to snatch the fruit from Doflamingo's men had no courage and insight, and would have been slaughtered by the former. My lords, the boss will come to welcome you soon. Before that, please play well. Clap clap. After Carla clapped her hands a few times, several men in black came over, holding trays full of chips here. This is a meeting ceremony prepared by the boss for everyone. As long as the adults are happy, it's fine. If it's not enough, we will provide it here. Thank your boss for me. After all, Namikaze Kirito looked back at the partners around him. Let's go play. Since we are here for vacation, of course we have to have a good time. Just lose all the chips and then gather together. These words made Ba Carla not 443 for a while. How can anyone come to the casino to lose? Or are the chips given away worthless? But that's okay. Get addicted. Get as addicted as you can. The boss's plan will be implemented soon. As long as you absorb the gold dust, you will definitely not be under the boss's control. Thinking of this, Carla's beautiful eyes carried a hint of inexplicable meaning. Under the persuasion of Namikaze Kirito, everyone disbanded and started to go their separate ways. The two beauties, Boa Hancock and Nico Robin, also started shopping with chips. The reason was that he heard Namikaze Kirito's voice transmission, and although he was surprised in his heart, it didn't show on his face. Pretending to be nonchalant, he began to wander around the amusement park. Namikaze Kirito was the only one left standing there. Barbara Carla couldn't help asking curiously, "Sir, don't you want to play?" "These are too boring. I have no interest." Seeing that Namikaze Kirito is very interested, Barbara Carla is a little anxious. She is still thinking about the next plan. What if Namikaze Kirito is not allowed to have a good time? But now if it shows abnormality, I am afraid it will be noticed by the other party. Then he pretended to smile and asked, "I don't know what interests you usually have, my lord." "My hobbies? Growing flowers and plants, etc. I don't have much interest in other things, but..." Advertisement. As he spoke, Namikaze Kirito looked at Barbara Carla, and his eyes swept up and down her body. It has to be said that Barbara Carla is considered top-notch in this pirate world where there are so many beauties, no matter her figure or appearance. That black evening dress brought out her perfect figure even more. Her exposed wheat-colored thighs were plump and plump. Just looking at them made people want to touch them. Barbara Carla has worked here for many years, and she certainly understands what Namikaze Kirito looks at. But you must know that for so many years, no matter what kind of big figures, including celestial dragons, have not taken advantage of her. Not only because of the fruit ability, but also because she herself is unwilling to use this method, she still cherishes herself very much. For my interest, I don't know how far you can do it, Ms. Ba Carla. Namikaze Kirito deliberately showed a smirk. Damn it, even if it's for planning, I don't want to do such a thing. Why don't you promise him first, and then use the fruit's ability to escape? Thinking of this, Carla's heart immediately brightened, and then an ambiguous look appeared on her pretty face. You are our most honored guest here. Of course you can make any request, even if the request is me. Barbara Carla stretched out her slender fingers and put them on her soft lips. For a man, this kind of temptation is simply incomparable. Namikaze Kirito also showed a sexy expression, as if completely addicted to the beauty of the other party. Sure enough. No matter what kind of man he is, he will be fooled by my beauty. What for emperors, what kind of man who can destroy the world, are they obedient? There is a trace of disdain in Carla's heart. Of course, she will not show it, otherwise, with the strength of the other party, they will not directly let their years of painstaking efforts go to the torch. At this moment, neither of them seemed to notice. Not far away, a tall woman wearing a marine cloak was watching everything here with those charming eyes. Pink's short dress reveals a pair of slender white and tender jade legs, and there is a spider tattoo on one of the legs. The charming tattoo contrasts with Marine's identity, and it has a unique temperament. There is a knife on his waist, and his hair is tied into a classic hairstyle. It also has a beautiful face. If Namikaze Kirito turns around, he will be able to recognize that this is Marine's admiral candidate, Gion, known as Momosagi. Advertisement in the middle of the Marine. The Kim Kunro on the waist is also a famous sword, and he is called the Marine staff officer. He is a sister, and even calls Garp the little Garp. Her real age is unknown, and she is also a unique flower in Marine. Even the T-Dolphin, who is also admiral's candidate, has pursued her more than 100 times, but has not won her heart. At this time, she was carefully watching the two people who were talking. Mamo spends more time observing Namikaze Kirito. Today's meeting with this man who has made the world government and Marine lose face is purely by chance. She is also a gambler and often comes to the Golden City for consumption. I was wondering if there would be some important person coming today, but I saw Namikaze Kirito. Such a villainous party must be dealt with if given the chance. On weekdays, Gion looks nonchalant, but facing more than half of the 100,000 Marines being killed, how could he bear it? Here, Namikaze Kirito said the seductive words to Barbara Carla, and his eyes lit up. Oh, Ms. Barbara Carla is so sincere, then I wonder when we can start? You can do it anytime. If you want it right now, my lord, please follow me. After saying this, Carla turned around and walked directly towards the internal elevator, shaking her plump figure while walking, giving people an infinite 3.0 reverie. After Carla turned around, Namikaze Kirito's eyes immediately returned to clarity. I had already forgotten that something was wrong. If that Tezzolo really wanted to welcome them, when their boat came in, they would not be hit by gold dust. What's more, he is already a 4 emperors, how could Tezzolo not greet him personally? When something goes wrong, there must be a demon. Reminiscent of Tezzolo's cooperation with world government, Namikaze Kirito knew that what was waiting for them must be a trap. However, the power that Namikaze Kirito showed to the world cannot be resolved by common strategy. The other party is not absolutely sure, and it is impossible to accept the cooperation intention of world government. Do you have absolute confidence in yourself? It seems that the recent smooth life has really given you an illusion, Tezzolo.